what happened in our last session, which was session 6, I believe. The AI art for the thumbnail for the YouTube video came out hysterically funny.
Oh, I need to go look at it.
I do too.
We really need a logo that we can just replace all the thumbnails with, but until then, we've got some really funny AI art on some of them.
I like them. They're pretty great.
Yeah, it would be better to have a logo.
Yeah.
It'd be cleaner.
Yeah, for sure.
But they are pretty funny when they're just like ridiculous.
So I think we started last session when we were on that path in the woods, and we were at the fork, and according to the map that we found a long time ago, we were trying to find which path was the most forlorn. And
You were looking for forlorn steps.
yes, forlorn steps. And I don't think we saw any steps on these two paths, so Max pulled out the dragon shard and found that between the two paths was like a reality tear. And we were like, that's pretty forlorn. And then
I think that you guys figured out. I think you guys figured out that if you stepped and walked at certain angles, you could make out the other side of it, and somebody saw steps on the other side.
and we were like, okay. And then it made sense too, because like the path least traveled would be
Yes.
forlorn, and this one is clearly the least traveled.
Yep, because it doesn't exist. It's just between a fork and the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can write a riddle.
Oh yeah. So I think we kind of thought about it for a while. We tried to size up this portal and figure out what might happen if we stepped through it, but ultimately Charlotte just kind of stepped through it and found she was elsewhere. I believe there was some sort of harmful effect.
You did feel like there was a magical effect that attempted to grip you, but you shrugged it off.
Passed that check. And then so Max was like, okay, I saw something was affecting her. Let me see what I can do about this. And pulled out his smoke and mirror routine, which is obviously not real.
Yeah. Not even tear, obviously.
Attempted to essentially counter the harmful effect that was on this portal, but V stepped through and his smoke and mirror technique kicked in and countered it. And Max was like, okay, cool.
I think Max did figure out by studying it that the tear was like some kind of phenomenon that occurred, and then somebody had placed an enchantment on it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I also remember
Because
that
when the magic got countered, it didn't affect the tear.
I believe, if I remember correctly, the tear was also like, well, yeah, it was invisible except through the dragon shard, but then when the effect got countered, I think everyone was able to see it.
Yes.
And
There
then
was
we were
like a burst
okay,
of
it's there.
magical energy.
Yeah. So then we all stepped through, and yeah, it was essentially seemingly never-ending steps, and there was like thick fog off to the sides in every direction. And there were like bird shadows, like crow shadows, flying around on that fog. And we ended up finding out that there were no actual crows that we could see. It was just the shadows, and they were tangible. So we could essentially stand on them and get across this gap that we found. And I marked down that we used a flight spell and the pixie dust to make that easier instead of just jumping onto. Somebody jumped. It was probably V.
You guys use up all the pixie dust?
Yeah, I had 3 uses.
I cast fly on myself, but then carried Dare.
That's what it was. And then the
The pixie dust did the 3.
And then the 3 of us, we used the pixie dust.
Ethel's pixie dust coming in handy.
It certainly did. I knew it would. So on the other side, we came into a very thick forest, and we heard music. And I think we ended up following the music to get to that chapel.
Before
we got to the chapel.
Where we came across like a...
We came out into a clearing completely surrounded by woods, and we started going in different directions and like trying different things, we just always ended up at the same spot. We had to like figure out how to fucking open portal or something.
It's a question of what was the value of life.
Right.
What is the worth of a soul?
That was basically what was being asked.
And
the trees were asking you.
V just answered and was gone. And then I think Jensen thought about it for a minute and was gone. And then the three intellectuals thought about it for a really long fucking time.
This is so well played.
Very philosophical discussion.
The detective and the magician is just hanging out talking philosophy.
And the doctor.
That's how you make a good campaign.
Yeah, because I think Dr. Volts was the last.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
so
okay,
the doctor, the detective, and the magician.
Oh, okay. And I remember there was a skeleton leaning against a tree that the doctor found.
It was like a padre, like a father.
Yeah,
like a priest or something, right? I
don't remember what was on him.
If I remember correctly, you guys surmised that he essentially never answered the question and died.
That's what we thought.
Yeah.
That's what we thought, yeah.
And then was just like decomposing there. And
so, some people can never be honest with themselves.
What a way to go. You know. It'd be a great story if you had anyone to tell it to.
This is why I give you guys comedic trading characters, because the rest of the campaign's just going to be depressing.
Oh, sure. But yeah, so one by one we answered the question, and it didn't seem that we needed a specific answer. It just wanted to know what our answers were.
A truthful answer.
Yeah, you needed a truthful answer.
Yeah, because somebody tried to say my answer afterwards, and nothing happened.
Right. That would have been really funny, though, if we all had legitimately the same answer to that question.
As a druid would say, trees only speak truth.
They also speak ent.
And turn into animals.
That's a different fantasy world.
Oh, shit. Okay.
This is my fantasy world. Sorry. Matthew R.R. Thomas.
Just got back from the Lord of
the next in the line of great RRs.
Matthew Breckenridge.
Breckenridge Thomas, yes. Oh, dude, I'm legally changing my name.
But like Reckon.
But Reckon and Ridge are two words. That's where the double R comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so we teleported through the forest and we ended up in front of the chapel. There was a guy standing out front, and I think we saw and or heard some people inside that were the bag-headed guys.
There were guys with the sackcloth hat bags on their heads.
We heard the beast too.
Yes, we did hear the beast. And then we lit the ghost candle. I'm trying to remember why.
We wanted to see if those spirits were still following us here, I think.
Oh yeah, because we were in a different realm and we were like, okay, see how this goes.
Yeah.
I think I also had the idea of like trying to approach this guy standing at the door as like, oh, we're just travelers who got lost.
Yeah.
Like, let's light a candle because that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think that worked.
No, it didn't.
It didn't work. I'm pretty confident it did not work.
Yeah, Charlotte is not. She likes to stay inside by herself, so reflected stat-wise. We did see the same spirits that were still staring at Dr. Waltz, I believe. And then we moved up the hill towards the church. Yeah, the guy basically did not buy it for a second that we were travelers, and was like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who you guys are. He ended up leading us inside.
No.
We fought outside.
He called the boss outside.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he called the boss outside. And he tried to get us to come inside, I think.
I think
he was very interested in me going inside.
He was interested in like parlaying with you guys for V, basically.
That's what it was.
And then when he found out that I could not cross the threshold of the church, he got very upset and was no longer interested and ran off like a little bitch.
We also found out that same reason why you couldn't go in also meant that the Headless Horseman couldn't go in.
I don't think he ran off right away. I think he ran off like near the beginning of the fight because you guys just like kicked the shit out of the guys that were outside. And he was like, well, I don't have the numbers advantage anymore.
Also, one of them threw a bomb inside the church.
Yes.
And set it on fire. And then the beastie...
Manticore.
Yeah, the beastie came out.
And the manticore came out.
And we ended up taking care of that pretty handily, thanks to our big boys with a Z.
Mostly Jensen. Let's be honest.
That's
I couldn't
true.
do much damage.
He's a monster slayer. He slayed a monster.
I do lots of damage to monsters.
Yeah, he gets like a flat extra 2 points of damage when he fights monstrosities. So.
And with everything I've taken, it's like I do like 5 damage at a time right now, or something like that.
So even against like heavy armor, he's getting like 2 wounds whenever he successfully hits.
Yeah. Pretty good.
That's what we're here to do, baby.
So I want you guys to know that I had the opportunity to pick up more damage, and I didn't.
You're the tank. You're an undead tank.
We have clan utility salute you.
Yep.
So we watched the church burn after we killed the thing, and I don't remember which direction we went in. I don't know how.
Saw an older building with the lights on, a little bit off in the distance, and we were going to head towards that.
We saw that from the top of the hill.
I think so.
Okay.
You guys looked over the town. You saw spirits moving about. You can also see kind of stretching out over the forlorn ruins. You can see a road that leads to a center courtyard, not unlike the courtyard of the current Lambeth Hollow. Though Old Lambeth's was more of a square, and its buildings were more centralized. They're also made of old stonework. This is a medieval town. One thing that Charlotte, both you and Maximilian, would immediately recognize is that these structures, their design and their materials is much older than 1313. This is like maybe pre-500. This is a very old medieval village.
So this predates when the stuff we saw at the town hall says that
Lambeth got started.
By more than double, right?
Yes, it predates it. You're probably thinking by around 1,000 years.
God damn. Okay.
I mean, if they were trying to hide it, it would make sense that they would lie about that in the visitor center. So, okay, interesting.
Another queer thing you notice: a woman in white, lazily gliding across the courtyard, past the fountain structure that is not active in any way, mostly just crumbled stonework, and slipping into the doors of what appears to be a medieval tavern. This central cluster of building, as far as you can observe it, appears to be an inn and tavern set side by side, with what was most likely some kind of schoolhouse, as well as a path leading into a lower part of the ground, where there's a tarped, what you would imagine, those of you that kind of recognize the buildings in this time period would imagine was probably some kind of medieval blacksmiths. There's also signs of stables that crumbled and village houses. This was a location not unlike what Lambeth Hollow is today, a connection between many travelers' paths that was once treaded by most likely many people, at least for this time period. Though there was probably only a small cluster that stayed here and lived here actively. And then one more queer thing catches your eye. All of you kind of, as you sweep to the right and you look to the path that winds down towards the town from where the chapel sits on the hill, overlooking it like some kind of vanguard, you see a skeletal figure, missing half their teeth, walking along with a cart being pulled by a skeletal pony, perhaps. And they are walking in your they're walking in your general direction up the road. And there's one other queer thing about them. While they're hunkered a little bit and there's some menace to their form, their skeletal mouth seems to almost bear a smile and then purse like lips as they whistle. And they just continue up the path, sure to run into you at some point, if you stay where you are at least.
That's good to see the town's economy is not in shambles.
Yes, I was beginning to worry we were the only travelers on this lonely road.
Does that guy remind anybody else of the crazy old guy that I sold my finger to? For directions
Perhaps a
to get
little.
here.
James, you're muted, by the way.
James,
you're
you're
muted.
talking to mute.
He's in the beyond realm.
This guy's got pushed back.
This soul has been traveling for a long time, though.
I wonder who he sells his wares to. Just like look around for other skeletons.
You don't see any others in the immediate area, but there's definitely some like ghostly figures gliding around the settlement.
Do they look
the
like
only solid one we can see, right?
He does appear to be the only solid presence you can see currently.
do the spirits look like they're just wandering around aimlessly, or does it look like they're doing things?
Make an insight roll. This is easy for you.
I'm gonna peek at my sword as we're kind of like walking around.
It's glowing, but your sword doesn't know intention. It just knows.
Oh yeah, I know.
Type.
I got a 12.
Most of them appear to be aimless to you. That woman in white did not appear to be aimless to you.
Well, I've half a mind to think that whatever's left of the denizens of this town are not exactly sure what it is their daily lives consist of, but that one there, she's different. There's something about her.
Like she's lost a little bit less of herself than all the others.
That's one way to put it, yes.
Well, howdy ho there. The skeleton lifts a creaking arm and then starts to wave its hand, and it kind of snaps to the side. Oh, sorry about that. That's a bit embarrassing. And he pops his hand like back into place.
Good, morning?
Oh, you never really know here. It's pretty much just dark and gloomy like this all the time.
So I've noticed.
Yes. It's interesting to see you here. All of you have a lot of flesh. That's real uncommon around these parts. Well, in most cases, unless you're some kind of man-eating monstrosity.
Well, other than said man-eating monstrosities, when would you say is the last time you saw someone like us?
I have no idea. My perception of time is shot, quite frankly.
Understandable, yes.
Why? What year is it?
I'm not entirely sure that matters here, but I'll tell him the year.
It's 1888.
1888.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a long time. Are you interested in some things? I don't have people to sell to very often, and I'm really I miss peddling my wares.
Well, I think we could at least take a look.
He'll nod excitedly, and he'll kind of turn and he'll put his hand on the chest of the skeletal mount and kind of like stop it as it's pulling on the cart, and then he'll like scamper around the back and he'll pull back the tarp, and you'll see that for the most part it's empty. But he does pull out a few things.
While he's doing that, I'm going to ask him real quick. Have you use for coin, or are you looking to barter?
Well, I mean, a barter's obviously more interesting, but if you you're interested, of course, in carrying some golden crowns, I'm always there for a shiny.
Good to know. I'll take a look at what he's got.
Sure. He'll sit out some things. Looking through it, most of it is like useless refuse. However, you would notice kind of a strange brown cloak. There's definitely something off about it, because when you look at its material more closely, it seems to kind of swirl and shift and be kind of like almost like a plant-like material. And next to the cloak, he sits down in hourglass, which after watching for some time, you guys would notice does glow very faintly. You can't tell how or why it's glowing. Also, no matter how long you watch it, the sand just seems to keep pouring. Then he pulls out kind of a sludgy potion bottle. It kind of swirls and churns on its own. It's a brownish liquid. It looks like there might be parts of like an animal's eyeball in it. It doesn't look tasty.
Speak for yourself.
And then he'll smile and he'll say, and my favorite, and he'll pull out a robe and he'll put it on. It's my favorite because I actually know what this one does. And he'll stretch out his arms and he'll go, ta-da! And you'll see his robe just start to unravel into a spool of material on the ground. What do you think?
And he's naked now?
No, he's just got like the tunic on that he had before. He pulled it out of his cart and he put it on. Pretty cool. Wait. This is even better. He picks up the spool, and as he picks it up, it starts raveling back into the robe around him.
Oh, well, that answers my question.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. Oh, and then I've also got this old cabbage stew. I'm not sure when I made it. And he just sits out a bowl of cabbage stew.
I pick up the hourglass.
Sure.
What happens if I flip it over?
You flip it over and you watch it for a while, and it just seems to keep going forever.
Does the sand like switch directions, or is the sand now just going up?
The sand, it reacts normally. It just never seems to run out on either side.
Okay.
Does the glow change at all when he does that?
Faintly.
Okay. It just kind of flickers a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this means that you aren't quite aware of what all these other things.
Oh, I got no idea. I tried to put on that fake cloak once, but honestly, I just felt like vines were groping my body. And
not a sensation that everyone likes.
That potion, somebody told me that it'll turn you into a monstrous creature, which is, I mean, why would I want to be anything other than this? He smiles. Bunch of gaps in his teeth.
More flesh, for one. That would be a...
I get hot real easy. Also, I've been bones for a long time, and it's a lot easier to say I'm bones than I'm flesh and bones.
You're certainly right about that. Keep it simple has always been my motto.
And you can't die if you're already dead. My name's Sam, by the way. Sam Plotkins.
Nice to meet you, Sam.
Lived in Lambeth my whole... He kind of pauses, and it seems like he kind of just zones out on that.
Existence?
That's it.
I'm gonna walk up to the steed. I'm gonna pull a piece of like hardtack out of my pack and like go up and offer it to the steed as I'm talking to this guy.
Yeah, it starts eating it.
Can you spell his last name for me?
Plotkins. Plotkins.
Well, it's certainly a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Plotkins. I'm Charlotte.
Oh, that's a pretty name.
Thank you.
Jensen Sharp.
Jensen Sharp. Has anybody ever asked you why your beard is blue?
Oh, many have, yes. How many have answered? That's less.
Fair enough, your business, not mine. What about you? You're basically bones. He points at you, Dar.
You're basically bones. That's quote.
Did I see any words?
Some kind of foreign name.
It is, yes.
And you're a long way from home. It is unfortunate. There's absolutely no way out of here, so it's home now.
That's not true. You just have to go jump on the Raven's shadows and back up the stairs. Probably.
You're gonna fit right in here. You're already going insane.
Oh, you'll find that won't be an issue for any of us, actually.
That's nice.
I don't suppose you have many others here that you can talk to, perhaps not do business with.
I mean, everyone who's was here when here became here is here now. So, but I mean, there aren't that many people to talk to in the sense of a whole conversation. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, that's a nucleus thing.
Yes, are the other inhabitants of this town, do they keep busy?
I think most of them just don't even know where they are anymore. There is, of course, the Harlows up in the manor, but I wouldn't go there. They're kind of the unpleasant type, and I'd stay away from the witch, too. She's bound to turn you into a frog not even your mother would kiss. I guess I mean a toad.
Well, which one of them happens to also be a headless fella on a horse?
Headless fellow on a horse. Oh, you mean the knight?
Yes, I'm sure.
The knight is in service of the witch and the Harlows. I'd say
So
just
they all
stay away from that one.
one big happy syndicate, like.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're happy, but they have control, as it were. There is the woman in white, but she's kind of hard to have a conversation with, because of all her blubbering. She's a bit sad. And there's the blacksmith, but that man has gone quite mad. Unless you're talking to him about weapon craft, I have to be honest with you. He's not really worth your time. If I were you, I would head back to the church and pray to the Socratians that when the Harlows get their hands on you, they'll just make you bones, and not something worse.
Like flesh and bone.
Yeah, or like a evil monstrosity of some kind.
Looks like this potion would turn you into.
Well, I mean, yes, but that's like... I was assured that you still have your mind, in which case I would imagine you would be quite a fearsome beast. Though I don't know, I did not know anything about the man that I bought it from.
Are those people with bags on their heads?
People with bags on their heads?
Yes, have you seen any people running around with bags on their heads?
No, I haven't. There's people running around with bags on their... How do they see?
Holes.
Oh, ingenious. Huh. Perhaps I should get a bag for my head.
This
It would
woman
only help.
This woman in white that you speak of, you say that her blubbering is makes her difficult to talk to. She seem troubled in some way? She's trying to achieve something?
She's always crying about her boy.
I surmise that he is also passed.
Oh, no. I think that he is locked in the tavern.
Ah.
I just wouldn't go into the cellars if I were you.
Monsters, I presume.
Monsters, I presume.
Well,
if you want to know more about that, I would look for the Grey Warden.
Well, that sounds like somebody quite interesting.
It may be difficult to find him. I believe he was captured by the Harlows, in which case they are punishing him or torturing him or dismembering him or experimenting on him or torturing him. Did I already say that one?
You did.
Okay.
I get the impression that a lot of the things you listed actually fall in that category.
I just like words. Word play, if you would. So you gonna buy some stuff, or do you just want to know about the town? Do you want me to take you on a tour?
I think a tour would not be unwanted.
Well, what are you gonna pay for it? Or trade?
What do you want for this hourglass?
For the hourglass, I like to call it the infinite hourglass. Just a little name I coined up. You can have it for free. Not the hourglass, the name.
No.
How about 3 gold crowns? Or something that is the equivalent of that.
I'll hold out 3 decotes.
He'll look at it, and then he'll lift it up to his nostril even though he can't sniff it. And then he'll bite it and he'll say, "This isn't a golden crown. What, you think just because I don't have my brain I'm crazy? You can rip me off."
This is the money in 18... What year was 1818?
1888.
1888. This is the money... This is the gold crowns of 1888.
Yeah, but this ain't 1888. This is... It don't matter when this is. These aren't made of gold.
Gold is a little bit scarcer to come by where we come from.
Well, it sounds like my infinite hourglass is worth even more then.
Send him an extra decote to make 4.
I said I don't want those coins.
You just said you wanted even more.
I'm a trader. So if you don't have the gold, you gotta give me something else I can trade.
Would you like me to improve your soup for the to offer to the next person?
What? No, this soup is perfect. Not perfect to eat, obviously, but it does have effects when it's eaten. It tastes like shit.
Is that the effect?
No, that's not the effect. I'm just warning whoever buys it that you gotta pay in some way for power, you know?
The spoiled food has been enchanted to taste bad.
No, I think it just tastes bad because it's spoiled. But this was cabbage from the dark woods. If you consume it, it lets you see ghosts. Things that exist on other planes that walk around you.
I'm gonna look around at all of the ghosts.
I think we're already doing that, friend.
You don't understand. A ghost is seen when it wants to be seen.
And the others must reveal themselves.
Yes. From under your bed while you're sleeping. When they take your soul. Ugh.
I
hate ghosts.
Why not find a new place to peddle your wares then?
Yeah, I can't. You can't leave. Walk out there in the woods. Do it. Go ahead. Just walk off into the woods. Get out of here. Scat.
Perhaps I might.
Try it. See what happens.
You know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Whichever direction he's gesturing in, I'll kind of get all my effects in order, and I'll walk in a direction.
She starts to walk that way, and eventually she just disappears into the trees. She's dead forever now, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. She's gonna come out over there somewhere. And you find yourself coming out of the trees on the other side of the chapel. Got you there for a minute, though.
Manticore tail.
A manticore tail. Interesting. Let me see it.
I'll go back up to the church and pick back up the tail I took off the manticore.
You walk it back over. His eyes go wide. It's still dripping. I'll take it. And he pulls out his sack and he wraps it up, and then he hands you the infinite hourglass. Now that's how you make a deal.
I'm just gonna start playing with the hourglass because I still know what it does. It was just too cool to not try to get.
Sure. It's fairly large. It's fairly large. You're probably having to turn it with your whole hand. Just to let you know.
Okay. Is there like a way you can identify what something does?
Yeah. There's a. I think. Well, wait. Maybe I haven't added it. Have I put in a spell for identification yet, Jesse?
Jesse, assuming
No, because he would have taken it.
And he's our only real spellcaster.
It's not true. You're all spellcasters at heart, except Chris.
I
don't think there. Maybe there isn't.
You just
There's a part in the power document that's crossed out, but I don't know that it's.
Oh, that was part of the old dispel magic. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it's just the empowerments were left over from removing it.
Okay. Okay. No, there isn't an exact way to identify it that you know of at this time.
Just stare at it really hard for a long time.
No matter how often you flip it or turn it, it always seems to remain fairly even and continue pouring.
If I leave it on its side.
Okay. It eventually settles, and then you notice that there's kind of some pushing and pulling from the sands, and they continue to pour even though they're on a side.
Interesting.
Do you suppose it is measuring the time of something for the holder?
I don't know. I was seeing if there was a way I could stop it, if that would like freeze time, because that would be really cool.
Yeah, but then if you use the object to freeze time without being able to control time yourself, wouldn't you just trap us all in an infinite time freeze?
I imagine if I like turned it back so it started flowing again, it would like unfreeze.
Yeah, but if it so what you're postulating is that if you were holding it, it would freeze all of everything in time but you.
Exactly.
You know, I've noticed you're a very me-centered person. Has anybody ever told you that?
It's more of a we, actually.
Oh, we.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that, but since I'm crazy, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, that sounds what you were just describing there about this about an infinite time loop. You reckon that the Hollows have something like that up at their mansion, and that's the reason what's going on here?
Oh, I'm reckoning.
No.
I'm reckoning we're cursed. As he starts to say that, it's almost like the world gets darker for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
It's the curse at work.
Something foul happened here. If only I could remember it! He starts hitting himself on the head, but I got no brain! I just got this thick skull.
I don't suppose it's an issue of misplacing it. Might we be able to find your brain? Return your memories?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I felt it rotting and then leaking out of the back of my neck bones. But that was probably a few 100 years ago. So I'm your elder. Respect me.
I'll kind of do like a half bow.
That's good. I like that. So you guys gonna buy anything else? Or you gonna pay me?
I didn't miss anything when it was like the robe thing that he.
There's a cloak, an hourglass, a sludgy potion, and a robe, and stew.
And a robe of raveling and unraveling.
It's tempting. I feel like I could do something with that.
That's
okay.
I'm just getting like porno vibes from that one.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're the first porn producer in continuity. That's what you can do with the robe of raveling and unraveling.
You don't know. Maybe there's places where the pleasure houses are filled with unraveling robes.
James is like, I'm thinking I just have a camera and a casting couch.
In the robe of unraveling.
There's the potion that's disgusting. There's the cabbage stew that's disgusting.
He doesn't want our money though.
Yes. What
Take a look.
you said?
Well, nobody's actually tried to use a skill roll to convince him that the money is worth anything.
I told him it was the gold coins of our day.
Yeah, but like you didn't roll anything, and it's easy for him to check and see if it's gold or not. So he was just like, this isn't gold.
That's fair. I'm still fine having traded the Manticore tail because I hadn't brought it with me anyway.
He likes his Manticore tails fresh, so it was a good call.
What is this? What was significant about the cloak? You said something like the material looked like it was like almost like bark, something like that.
Yeah, it's like plant-like material, and it's also like swirling and shifting as if it's kind of like alive.
Oh, I can't lie. I'm actually interested in a couple of your things here. I don't know what I have much.
I don't got anything for that ridiculous beard, but perhaps the blacksmith could rub charcoal in, turn it black like a normal person.
You shouldn't assume that there's something wrong with it for how it looks. Maybe that's on purpose.
He's gonna look at everybody else. There's something wrong with it, right?
I never thought to ask.
Are you kidding? You've been traveling with this man and nobody's asked him why his beard is blue?
Does it
Pull
matter?
off my hood and pull down my scarf so that he can see I'm essentially an undead stitched together. There's weird things.
That's not that weird to me. I've seen a zombie before.
Before I met Mr. Sharp, I knew better than to ask questions like that.
So polite, as always. Well, I mean, do you know what? And I'll take out like a decode or demark, whatever, and I'll come one of each. I'll say, do you know what this is? It's not gold, you're right, but you know what it is?
What are you showing him?
Just a decode and a demark.
No, I've never seen those ridiculous coins before. Are they some kind of children's toy?
Well, no, not exactly. I mean, I would not be surprised that you didn't know what these were, since this material was not very readily available as long ago as you would have been alive, I'm pretty sure. It is quite valuable here. We have done a few, helpful deeds for the place we came from, and they paid us handsomely. These are worth. This is something that you want to have, my friend. Make some kind of like persuasion check.
Sure. Yeah.
It ain't gonna.
Quite likely that none of your gold crowns are in existence anymore, or they're long buried.
No gold crowns are in existence.
Not that
What
I've
happened
seen.
to Albion?
Change, mostly.
Oh, it's still standing though.
Oh, certainly.
Well, that's good at least. I always wondered if this happened everywhere or just here.
I think it's safe to assume it's mostly just here, but I'm certainly not going to discount the possibility that there are other places that are, and I'll kind of like furrow my brow a little bit, cursed.
As she says that, the kind of ambience around you gets a little bit darker.
This is probably the first moment she's smirked since she got here.
He'll nod and say, yes, no doubt, no doubt. Someday maybe the Hollows will pay. I'm sure they were at the heart of it. Sometimes I can remember what happened like it was... What were we talking about?
Only 100 years ago, perhaps?
It's been 100 years?!
Yes, give or take.
He turns and he looks at... He's gonna turn and look at you, Charlotte, and say, what year is it?
1888, by my count.
Goodness. What were we talking about?
Do you have any golden crowns yourself?
I've got a few. He reaches back and he shakes a small bag. It looks like he's probably got like a dozen.
Do you know what this is? And I'll hold out the revolver that I have.
He'll raise an eyebrow. I don't know what that is.
I'll shoot the ground.
Sis. I'll like fucking start looking around and like.
What kind of magic is this?
It is magic worth about 10 gold crowns, I think.
10 gold crowns. And I can repeat this magic myself? How does it function?
I'll go over the basics of how it works. And I have 5 more bullets other than the one I just shot.
Gotta load the spell component into the magical wand chamber.
Alright, make a persuasion roll. It's against a target number of 6.
I take the revolver that I found out and like be like actually and then shoot the ground too and be like, see, it's not, you know, it's not an illusion. This is another
7.
one just like it.
Oh, so there's 2 of them. How can I be certain they're worth as much as he said they are? I want both.
Well, they're certainly not commonplace.
I rolled a 7.
A 7. I'll give you...
I am interested in that cloak and that substance you got there.
The potion.
Yes.
All right. For those 2 magic boomsticks, I'll give you
I didn't think of them.
the cloak and the potion you desire, and 3 gold coins, 3 gold crowns. He feels like you might be able to keep negotiating, Chris, if you want more.
What would you say to 5?
4, and the cabbage stew I'll throw in as well.
Well, how could I refuse such an offer? Deal.
He'll nod. Ha! Sucker, I just wanted it out of my cart. It smells like shit. And it tastes like shit. I warned you. Give me your magic boomsticks. He'll hold out the 4 gold crowns.
Yep. I'll end it
Yeah.
over.
Ha! This is incredible. And the first thing he does when he takes the first one is he turns the barrel towards his face and he pulls the trigger. And he just blows part of the front of his skull cap off. Ha! 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 See? No brain. I wasn't lying.
I don't think I thought you were.
Very good, very good. He'll put out the things for all of you to take. He'll put the boomsticks, he'll like wrap them up in cloth, and then he'll walk to his cart and he'll start to turn his like pony with the cart, like he's going to continue on the road past the chapel, and he'll look back towards all of you and he'll say, "And remember, watch out for the dark. These are cursed." The world gets darker. Lands. And then he'll start to walk off with his pony and cart.
Does anybody want this cabbage stew?
It smells awful.
I feel my stomach gurgle. Yeah, there you go.
I'll take it. I'll pull out a bunch of chili and help dump it on there and eat it.
You want to put some brain powder in there too?
Oh yeah,
Or brain strips? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll put some of the brain
it is
strips I got in there,
difficult
too.
even for you to eat. The rot and the disgust of the flavor even touch your like very, very mild taste buds. After you consume the whole bowl, you start to notice more ghostly figures around you. More specifically, so you understand mechanically, when you consume the stew, you gain the ability to see spirits that are within 3 range bands of you for an hour.
Hey.
So even if a spirit is hidden, you can see it. A ghost is like a type of spirit. They're usually easier to see than like a stronger spirit might be.
Can I see where those 8 pairs of eyes?
Yeah, they're in the trees, watching Dari.
So they didn't like come into the town at all.
No, they always tend to lurk like far away. They're always like right at the edge of 3 range bands. So if you go into the town far enough, like to the square, they'll have to come in the town.
So won't be able to see them unless I can get closer sometime.
They do appear to be very good at hiding themselves from like the normal vision types. But they're there. You think Dare can just go walk to another plane and his past won't follow him?
I mean, we already knew they were there. I was hoping I could, like, see them.
Oh, more clearly?
Yeah.
No, just eyes.
If I start walking towards the eyes, do they start to come into focus, or do they stay, like, at 3
when you walk
away now?
When you walk towards the eyes and you're approaching them, it's not so much that you see them move away, but they're always at the edge of that 3 range bands.
Very disconcerting.
I'll head back to the group then. So do I see like a lot more spirits and ghosts around now?
Yes, you do.
Do any of these new ones look like purposeful or?
Yes, a lot of these ones do look like they have more of like their mint. That's one of the reasons why they're able to mask themselves, because like they kind of understand what they are and they want to be. You feel like they want to be left alone. These are like solemn spirits that are just watching existence go by because they're stuck.
If I'm like having the hourglass out and playing with it and looking around, do any of the ghosts like react to it? Like they might recognize it?
They're not very reactive to anything. Most of them don't look at you guys, they look past you guys.
I'm gonna hold out the potion that I got, kind of like size it up and like shake it, do different shit with it, and like I'm still perturbed by what's doing the haunting of our home with these animals. It has to do with the animals in the forest. The wolves are too big every however many years ages it is. I think maybe if this thing could turn something into a monstrosity, maybe studying this might help me figure out what's going on. What type of corruptive magic might be going on with the critters. I don't intend to take it. Well, maybe in a pinch if I don't have anything to do, but I do think I can find something from it. Is it weird to think it's too much of a coincidence that it might also be having something to do with this town? It seems like darkness and corruption are what's fueling the interesting part of this town.
I mean, it is cursed. Does it get darker or anything when I say it?
Yep, it gets darker when you say cursed.
That's happening for all of us, right? It is getting darker. And
I find it quite amusing, actually.
It's not like a blanket of like darkness, like the magical effect. It's more like when Gandalf gets really big and the shadows grow out of him when he's in the Hobbit house.
Yeah.
I do find it quite poetic that you, Jensen, would end up with a potion that turns you into the very thing that you seek to slay. But to that same end, I think it also poetic that these various wares that we've been sold are so thematically connected to what's going on here. I think it's no mere coincidence that Sam here, Mr. Plotkins, has these wares and no one to sell them to.
I figure lasting this long was probably only because I study what scares me and is most unnatural itself. Know thine enemy.
Well, I have a feeling we might need to be prepared to fight these enemies. After all, it seems like whatever's going on in the Harlow residence might not be too dissimilar from that beast we fought at the chapel, or the Headless Knight, or those beasts we fought below the town hall, or below the visitor center.
Yes. I wonder how lucky we could get if we tried to make our way to this mansion, and not all of they were listed by Mr. Plotkins was there. There's a witch and a knight and the Harlows and the Grey Warden, and I wonder if there's a way that we can isolate one of them.
Isn't Arlos the name of the founding priest?
Yes, that sounds right.
Check your notes.
I know I wrote it down, but I can't find it.
That's in character, and I look at Charlotte in character because she's.
Yeah, she'll say.
James is such a. James double cop outed there. He's
wondering for a second.
If my memory serves me correctly, I do recall in the visitors' center a story about a Socratian bishop named John Harlow III, I believe. So I do believe, yes, it was the Harlow family that was the initial founder of Old Lambeth, and those descendants of that family are what currently reside there. But it seems that the Harlows have found some reason to stick around. I can only imagine what sort of machinations they might have.
There were no more Harlows in regular Lambeth.
I've half a mind to think maybe they were murdered, or at least removed from the picture. Perhaps there was some other family or organization, or simply the entire town wished that the Harlows were no longer in power.
How about something to do with that terrible something or other that happened here?
And vengeance
had something to do with the Fae that they talked about. That came out and met the first settlers. Maybe the Fae is the witch.
That could certainly be. The Fae could also be a third party working behind the scenes in this place, pulling strings from in the shadows.
Or maybe these Harlows made the same mistake that the councilman made in the Lambeth Hollow that we know 1,000 years before. Harlows might have done something to this town without even knowing it. Messed with things they didn't understand.
Well, whatever they did,
Like
I
the
do think
timeline.
the mansion, the manor, is where we should go.
I agree with the doctor.
I think I'd also like to find this woman in white. I think given that she is different than the others, I think she might at least know something, or at least be able to give us some insight on what's going on here.
She did seem somewhat more coherent than the rest.
Yes, despite her blubbering.
Alright, go ahead. As all of you start down the path that winds towards the village square, go ahead and make awareness tests for me. The max number you're trying to hit is 15.
I cannot even get to a 15.
You can contribute, even if you don't get a 15, to picking up.
Oh, okay, so this is like a group one.
I'm telling you guys, if anybody's trying to get like the hardest details they can out of this, they're trying to hit a 15.
7 for me.
6.
That's 18 already.
9 for me.
It's not, it doesn't add all together.
Oh.
9 from you?
Yeah.
Okay. Max?
7 for me.
7? Okay. So, the woman in white, you all would notice, the closest building to all of you is the inn, and just past it is the tavern. On the opposite side of the square of those two is the digged steps that lead down into the blacksmiths. That area is mostly covered by a tarp, so it's hard to observe, but it doesn't actually look like it's a solid structure building. The blacksmiths is like a work camp setup built into the dug ground, basically. And then there is also the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse is kind of at like the opposite end of the square from all of you, and there's the road that leads past the houses up to the manor. It passes the schoolhouse. The woman in white, she spends a few minutes kind of as all of you are walking down the path, still watching all of you, and then as all of you reach the square, and you can just kind of make out the shine of the ghostly tears on her cheeks, she passes through the door of the tavern and slips inside. Additionally, it looks like there's a figure that's wandering along the front of the manor, not in an erratic way. It looks like they're walking stiffly, wearing a long trenched coat, and kind of like a wide-brimmed hat, like workers' clothes.
Yeah, that does seem odd.
Yes, and anything odd or out of the ordinary is worth checking out, in my opinion. I'll start heading towards that other figure.
So you're going to head across the square towards the manor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like rush over there. I'm gonna kind of do it a little nonchalantly, just in case. Like, I don't want to. Well,
Sure.
bad word choice, but I don't want to spook this guy.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I'll make sure that I close the distance between me and Charlotte before we get to wherever he is. I'll just be standing off your left shoulder.
Is everyone else following Charlotte?
I want to go to the blacksmith.
You want to go to the blacksmith? All right. V starts to wander over towards the blacksmith's tarp.
Is that still within eyesight?
Yeah. If they're actually going to go approach the guy, they're going to be like a couple blocks away from me by the time they get to him. So it will be harder to see, like, make out the details of what's going on with them once they're up there. If other people are still in the courtyard.
Oh, if we're splitting up, actually, I will hand Dr. Valds one of my sigils, so that I can track its position.
Okay. Which one are you handing him? Because can't he use it technically?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
No, I think the way it's worded.
Just spell scrolls. Just spell scrolls do that then.
Yeah.
I think I may have done that on purpose. Hopefully I did.
It seemed intentional.
Intentional design is better than non-intentional design.
Yeah, it says
Unless the non-intentional design is really cool.
Yeah. In which case I let you do it for a few weeks, then I fix it.
Yeah, it says I can spend my deed to unleash the magic of a sigil I'm touching. So, but as long as he's holding it, I can.
If a mage makes a spell scroll, they can just hand it to somebody else and be like, "This is how it works." So. But spell scrolls aren't as utilitous as your sigils, so because they have to spend their Aether slot to do that, and then they can't like change that scroll, or if even if it doesn't get used, they can't get the Aether slot back. Or
I also have the potential. For
all right. So what is the split? We've got. Okay. So Max, you see two people head. Daria, you're going with V now.
Yeah.
You see two people head towards the blacksmith, and you see two people just pass the other buildings and head straight towards the manor. No one discussed this.
Max will kind of stand there looking back and forth for a second and say, well, on the one hand, we were specifically warned away from the blacksmith. On the other, we were also specifically warned away from the manor.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're also told there's no point in talking to the white lady either.
And then he'll start following the people heading towards the manor.
Okay. All right. So 3 towards the manor, 2 towards the blacksmith. V, you and Daria watch them head up the road a ways, and then you reach the point where you would need to push the tarp aside and enter the blacksmith's work area. As you reach that point, you can hear the beating of metal inside, but you don't feel any like heat or anything like that.
I'll push the tarp aside and go in.
Sure. When you step through, the whole pocked tarp is kind of like overhead, and you can see all this like medieval equipment. Medieval blacksmiths worked with some pretty insane stuff in the sense that they got a lot done with very little technology. So you can tell, and Daria, you especially, you can tell that as you're observing this, that kind of the basics of how this blacksmith works. It's a pretty big station. Somebody would need to be stoking the flames, like an assistant. And while that's happening, they'd also be working the bellows, or another person would be working the bellows. And then that works into a system that allows the metal worker to beat the metal on the anvil, heat it, shape it, and continue their work. However, the really strange thing is that there is a mallet that is currently beating the side of a blunted sword. It seems mostly like frustration strikes. V, you can see the spirit that is doing this. They look like they were in life a portly, early Albion man with a big bushy beard, braced by large mutton chops. And he seems very frustrated. Dari, you can't see this. You just see the mallet striking things. But you both can hear him. Nothing's been lit in years. No one to make a weapon for. Why am I even here? It's because we're cursed. Everything gets dark for a moment.
Would you like to make a weapon?
Huh? Flesh and bones. That's funny, I'm used to just bones.
That's what the bones guy said.
Yeah, the bones guy. Trust me, there's more of them. Not everyone got braced with this beautiful drifting on life like I did. Some of them have to walk around and stub their bony goddamn toes. I'm sorry, where are my manners? Did you want something to drink? Because I don't have anything!
Everybody here so angry.
So salty.
I mean, they're cursed.
I was just wanting to inquire about some weapons and if you've had any customers recently.
Pass through here? No. Shortly after everything went to hell, when we were trying to organize, I remember some things. I remember the Harlows wouldn't let us in. They controlled the food. They controlled the water. And they left us here to die. He drifts off a little bit. It seems like you need to refocus him.
What
Can I hear him
happens
speak?
that
Yes, you can hear him. You just can't see him. So there's just like kind of this expressive mallet moving around in the air as he's getting angry.
What happened that they withheld all the food and the water?
What happened, like, to us?
What happened to cause that?
I mean, the Harlows were always in control.
And they just stopped giving you all food and water.
After we were transported here, the well dried quickly, most likely because of the curse. Everything gets dark for a moment.
So you're talking about after the curse, then?
What was left was stored in their manor house. Ha! It didn't help them any. They all died too. Now they rot here, just like the rest of us. As for a weapon, everything I have is rusted and broken. But if you find me materials, and you find a way to restart my hearth, I'll make you a blade if you wish. Or a hammer or an axe, I don't care. Something to drive through their skulls.
Have you ever made cestus before?
What the fuck is a cestus?
It's fist weapon spikes.
I know what a cestus is. He doesn't know.
Okay. Oh, okay.
A cestus would have come from like the Far East at the time period that he was in. Well, the Southeast.
I'm essentially just going to describe to him brass knuckles. Pieces of metal that wrap around your fingers and have spikes coming out of each one.
You're interested in bladed knuckle dusters?
Yes.
I've never heard of such a thing, but I love it. Even meaner than a punching dagger. Yes, I could make you these. You would need to bring me something to work. Iron. I would make it special for you. A masterwork of craft. And then you'll use it to crush Harlow skulls.
Absolutely.
What are the coats? What are the coats made of?
Oh man. One of them is probably the coats are probably made of copper. And the marks are probably made of like a silver alloy.
Okay. I mean, he could make me copper. No, I have the coats. That would be silver knuckle dusters.
It wouldn't be very effective.
Yeah. Was there?
They'd brittle and break pretty fast.
There was a bell in the church, wasn't there?
There was a cracked bell in the church.
Actual brass knuckles.
That was probably made of brass. You might also be able to find brass materials at like the tavern or the inn, because brass materials were probably more common pre like 1000.
Well, my friend, you have a deal. I will find you some brass or some iron.
He'll nod. Good. We'll drink to that. And you'll see, Dari, you'll just see a bottle of liquor get picked up and tipped, and it's just pouring out on the ground, like ineffectually, basically. He drops it and just like lets it break once it's empty. I could almost taste that. It tasted good.
I bet. Did you have anything you wanted to ask him, Dad?
Oh, are we speaking to someone? I thought you were speaking with yourself.
No, this is the blacksmith.
I do not see anyone.
He's right there. He's the holding the hammer and the. Well, he dropped the bottle, but.
Oh, I'm very sorry. No, I have nothing to add.
Okay.
Dari's like, I just want to find a simple family hospital to work at, my guy.
Let's go see if we can figure out what the white lady knows. And find some brass.
You gonna head back to the courtyard? All right. It took them a few minutes talking to him, inspecting the stuff that would need to be fixed. While that was happening, the three of you headed up the road, and eventually you're at the gate. The gate of the manor is large. It's wide enough to fit several carts through at once, as well as troops in and out of. And the manor itself is completely surrounded by wall and moat. On the opposite side of the gate, tending the fields that are on the town side of the moat, you would see this kind of like gangly, stiff figure moving around. These fields are dead. There's nothing, no like actual live plants or like food being grown or anything like that. And you notice that there's quite a few graves, unmarked graves, kind of like along these paths. And this man actually does look vaguely like a gravedigger. And he just keeps digging his hole when you guys get up to the gate.
Pardon me, sir. I was hoping to ask you a couple of questions.
They rise up. You can see pale flesh that's sagging on just like bone. And you can see long, white, greasy hair coming out from the cap. He shifts and he turns. Interesting. I heard the young master saying that there were strangers on this side of the veil. I'd let you in, but I can't.
We certainly had no intention of trespassing or even inviting ourselves in. I merely just had a couple of questions about the town. I was hoping maybe you could help.
Depends on the questions. Master Gareth doesn't like me talking to strangers.
I'll try to keep it brief then, I promise. I was simply wondering, what exactly was it that happened to this town? We've been hard-pressed to find anyone else to speak to.
Well, it's cursed, of course. It gets dark for a moment.
Well, certainly, but what of the nature of this curse? Did it originate from somewhere? Was it inflicted?
Dark tidings came to Lambeth. Secrets trapped in an old house. But I'm on the payroll, so excuse me if I don't answer any more of that one.
Well, understandable. And, pardon my, prodding, but do the Harlows make it outside of the manor often?
There's no need. The Headless Knight will bring you to them one by one to be experimented on.
There's more than one.
Tortured. I'm sorry, what?
There's more than one of these horsemen?
No. They need simply the one.
Oh, I see.
And the job is done.
You said young master. Who's this young master?
Master Gareth's son, Jonathan. Jonathan Harlow.
Alright.
I think Stella's having technical malfunctions.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're good? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay, so it is just me then.
For a brief moment when your mouth was moving, we couldn't hear you. The mic wasn't picking up, but now you're good.
Now I got booted from the tabletop thing.
If you want to know what happened here, I recommend you wander about. History is everywhere if you're looking for it. I'll be busy digging your holes.
Seems like we could probably garner the most information about this place inside there, though.
Well, you're welcome to find your way inside. Though I warn you, it's difficult. I've seen others try. One even made it in. The Grey Warden himself. Never came back out, though. Suppose I'll be digging him a grave someday, too.
He made his way in on his own.
I don't know. He may have had help. There are those who are always fraught with resistance. I prefer the easy path, and I'm quite good at digging graves.
What was his intention?
Oh, the Grey Knight. He has some personal quest. I can't tell you what it is. I don't know. I just know he'll be dead soon, based upon the screams I've heard.
So it was recent that he found his way inside the manor.
He catches himself. I think you've loitered at the gate enough, yes? You seem like a proper lady. Go away.
Yes, well, apologies for bothering you. Won't happen again.
What was your name for your grave?
Oh,
I'm just kidding. They're unmarked, you dummy. Now get out of here! He starts digging again.
I'll look at a grave. Is it unmarked?
Yep, they're all unmarked.
It's gonna call his bluff. That one says Jimothy on it.
That one. Good old Jimothy. There's one marked grave and it says Brandon.
It would.
That's something.
As we're walk away.
Okay.
Oh no, that's exactly what I wanted. As we start walking away, I'm gonna say, Max, you seem to be a man of few words here. What do you make of this place?
Well, I can tell you one thing. We mustn't die here. I certainly can't have an unmarked grave. That would be preposterous.
Oh, well.
Quite unbefitting a man of your fame.
Yes. Might just have to perform some of that magic to help us get in there, or maybe to put on a show for the Hollows.
I'm not quite certain they'd be fond of low entertainment of that sort. However, it does sound like we may have a possible ally inside.
I am very intrigued by this Grey Warden and what he knows, this personal quest, and maybe who put him on that path. All interesting things. I know I want to get inside that man real bad, so I'd be curious at his intention.
Dare, you and V can hear him saying that as they're coming to the edge of the square, and the two of you have walked out of the blacksmith's.
You want to get inside the manor? Like somebody else?
It does seem like that's where our answers would be. And yes, this Grey Warden, this Grey Knight, seems to have made their way in there somehow, potentially alone. But it doesn't seem like it will be long before their tail ends, so to speak.
The most interesting part, though, is that it was intentional. He's after something. I don't know if it's something or just maybe information and knowledge and get out. I don't know. But he meant to get in there, and I mean to get in there, so it seems like he'd be a kindred soul, as it were. I guess soul here, everything's kind of a soul here.
As the party congeals at the square, I want you to note, Charlotte, as you're kind of looking around in your normal detective fashion, that there's a bronze plaque on the crumbled stone structure at the center of the square that reads Lambeth, established 313, Bishop Gareth Harlow.
Well, this must be the Gareth we just heard about. And it does seem that the time matches up here. It says here this town was established in 313, not 1313.
They seem to have added a 1 in their historical records. That's quite the clerical error.
They also changed the Harlow's name.
They did. It does seem rather strange to me that they would scrub the year and the first name, but not a lot of the other details. Although it does make me wonder what else we saw at the visitor center that is actually untrue. It could be that there was no amicable deal with this Fey entity. Perhaps it was something a little more ill-intentioned.
That would certainly explain quite a bit.
I'm gonna grab the brass plaque and put it in my pocket for later.
It's a pretty big plaque. That would be more akin to stealing a road sign.
That sounds like more than enough to make some brass clawed duck
Yes.
dusters.
Oh no!
I'm just gonna take that.
That's great.
Those are going to be the most cursed brass knuckles in existence.
Dude, I already got a blood ring. I don't know what it does. Yeah.
You know, you don't do a very good job of assuaging my fears about you. You know that, right, V? Like every step of the way.
You have fears about me?
I apologize,
That's
by the way.
weird.
I know I said brass, but I meant bronze.
Oh.
A sign this size at that time period probably would have been made out of bronze.
Oh, so not useful for making...
Not useful for the knuckles.
Fine.
You're going to be looking for the joint material on torch holders inside of buildings and stuff, and like collecting those smaller pieces to get enough brass together, or another weapon that he could melt down. But yeah, don't forget you've also got to help him fix the thing to get it working.
Or a big bell.
I was going to figure that part out once I actually had metal to.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm best at, and what hawk is my profession. And normally, I would be trying to separate you into the 8 pieces that made you. But I listen to my gut sometimes, and my gut said to not do what I'm best at quite yet. So far, it hasn't backfired, but you're just not making it easier.
That sounds like a you problem. I'm going to go back to looking for some iron.
At least he's on our side, Mr.
Are you heading to
That's
the inn or the
thing.
tavern? Or the schoolhouse?
I feel like Charlotte. I mean, well, hell, zombies, these undead don't usually have such an attitude with me.
Not much at all.
He's like, they usually just go, "Brains," and then I cut their head off.
Exactly. Ethereal voice from somewhere.
Well,
I'm going to
personally,
head to the tavern and hope I can find like an iron pot or something.
So V starts heading to the tavern.
I'll nod my head towards V and say, I'd also like to pay a visit to the tavern. I'd like to see if this woman in white has anything to say. Something tells me she may have some insight on what happened here. That at least would be somewhat valuable. More than what the gravedigger had to say, that's for sure.
Blacksmith told us a little bit about what happened. Apparently, when they all got transported here, the Harlows, the wells dried up, and the Harlows stockpiled all of the food and water and wouldn't hand it out to anybody. And they all died anyway, though, because it's a really stupid plan in a place that doesn't have any food or water. You're not going to survive long like that.
They must have been desperate.
Oh, the Socratians seemed more than desperate there. That seems downright not Socratian. Not very, what you call it, very faithful to the people, those that they serve.
Not very bishopy.
Yes, quite against what I've been told these Socratians were about.
Well, I'll admit I know little about the Fae, but I'm quite sure that one of their hallmarks is influence, especially on mortal beings. I suppose it's possible that if there was some dealing with the Fae by the Harlows, they may have been influenced in some way, and that changed their actions.
Go ahead and make lore roll on the Fae.
Did I make one too?
Yeah. Your highest target number is going to be a 12.
I got a 14.
Okay. What'd you get, Max?
One moment.
He rolled the max that he could.
I was originally going to try to put a mechanic in that was like critting, and then Jesse was like, yeah, you can't really do that with this dice system, because if you're looking for max dice, then 1d4 is the best dice, because it just gives you the best chance of hitting max dice each time. I was like, oh shit, nobody's gonna raise their skills. That's why there's no critting in the system.
I had that exact same thought too.
So I think the logical conclusion is just get rid of skill ranks, put all of your points into talents and callings and things.
Yeah. I mean, that's what James is going to do anyways.
I'm just trying to fix the shit of not having stats.
That's pretty much all I've done on V.
I can't stop wanting to do the cool things you've given us to do, man.
That's what you guys build the other characters getting that stuff passively.
I got a 13 on my roll.
A 13? Okay, so both of you know that, those who study the secret world know that there's a long history of interaction between humanity and Fae. Fey origins, there's many theories on, just like religions have many theories about how the world was created. But it's generally accepted in human study that the Fey control two realms, two veils beyond the world that are wild and magical in nature. One is dark and one is light. Fey from the light realm are stereotyped, let's say, as being generally good-natured tricksters. So at the worst, they're annoying. But a Fey from the dark realm, at their worst, can be deadly. Either through magical influence, magical acts of their own.
Ambition.
Bloodthirstiness.
Yes. Or at least they have that reputation. Also, the Fae that remember that there was a Fae statue in Lambeth Hollow as well. That may be a good thing to look at your notes on as well as you guys are journeying around.
Yeah, that was the same person that was mentioned in the story in the visitor center, if I remember right. Lady Esme.
Yeah, Lady Esme.
Would I guess knowing what I know about the Fae, would I have any inkling as to whether she seems to be more of a light Fae or a dark Fae?
You're unsure of what Fae specifically sit on the Seelie and Unseelie councils. Those roles have probably passed to different Fae with time. The nature of a Fae that would do the good works that the statue in Lambeth Hollow claimed she did would probably naturally cause you to think it was a light Fae based upon research of Fae. Normally, a dark realm Fae wouldn't do that kind of stuff unless it was getting something very, very good out of it for itself.
Yeah.
So they got transported to this fucking spirit death world. It doesn't seem very light if it's directly related to the Fae.
And the Fae that came in with the headless horseman on at the end of that. Or that took.
It wasn't a Fae with the headless horseman. It was a witch that looked suspiciously like Ethel. But you guys left. You guys left without talking to Ethel about that. So,
right.
We knew it couldn't possibly be her.
She clearly had a scar, so it's a different person that just happens to look exactly like Ethel with a scar. No connection.
Exactly.
You know, they've found snowflakes that are identical. So.
See?
Ain't none of y'all special.
My entire life is a lie.
You probably wouldn't be that surprised about how much shit they lie to you when you're a kid in school. So
I wouldn't be surprised about that at all.
It's constant, especially early American history. Anyways, did everyone just drop out of the game?
Yes,
I've been booted out of Tabletop Simulator twice now.
Maybe
it's telling me I'm not connected to Steam or something.
I think Steam is having issues right now because I've had to restart Steam because I literally can't open the game again or open my friends list.
Yeah, I can't open my friends list. And when I open the game, it says,
"Holy crap, you're right. It's a good thing I designed this game to be theater of the mind." So really quick, you guys are in the courtyard. How do you want to proceed? Is everyone going to the tavern? Keep in mind the tavern is where Sam Plotkins told you guys there was a monstrosity in the basement.
Yeah. Well, we just won't go in there.
You can probably totally do that.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to go in there because I want to see what the woman in white's deal is.
And V's already walking over there, which I would imagine means Dare is heading that way.
Yeah.
So what did the two
be doing? See the woman in white's deal is, but also find iron.
Like son, like father.
And watching the three of you go a little bit, I'll turn to Max and go, outside of you feel like kind of just tagging along. I'm gonna stay back and offer you go first.
You know, I keep getting this feeling that we're going to be visiting every single place we were warned against while here.
That is probably where the juiciest details are.
Max is going to shake his head and start following everyone else towards the tavern.
Okay. I'll get a big grin on my face and kind of put my thumbs in my belt and walk after you.
You're gonna hear him muttering, "There's a certain kind of juice I could use right about now."
Ah. Okay.
All right. All of you
How far behind of us are you when you say that?
You can hear him.
The blacksmith just drank a bottle of that juice.
Why do I get the feeling you're using the word "drank" rather loosely right now?
Well, it kind of poured through him, and then he just chucked the bottle dropped the bottle on the ground. But he poured it through his mouth area thing.
I am really starting to tire of this place.
You and I both, Max. I would like you to know, hopefully this is somewhat reassuring, though I'm not sure how I could possibly word it so. There are far worse places than this, I definitely assure you.
I think Steam just went up again.
I would find that comforting if I didn't have this nagging feeling that we might be visiting some of them at some point.
If only you knew how right you were, Maximilian.
I think you're doing much to allay his fears.
Oh, that was never my intention. I'm just trying to soothe the blow that I'm delivering.
Delivering bad news nicely.
It's honorable. Yeah, that's thoughtful of you.
So, entering the tavern. The inside of the tavern is dark and quiet. The structure's stone is collapsed in several places, with the once strong wood beams that supported the walls and the corners of the roof now kind of like desiccated husks that are slowly crumbling away. Stretched around the center of the tavern, extending out kind of like long ways in front of all of you, there's a large pitted firewall with a pig spit that's kind of like resting across it, where they once cooked at the tavern center and then shelled out food to guests. Stretching the length of the pit is kind of a crumbled wall that was probably originally designed to meet the height of your knees. And it's surrounded by crumpled tables, broken chairs. Well, mostly broken chairs. Go ahead and make awareness rolls. The high you are trying to reach is 12. Don't forget.
15.
Don't forget about momentum. Well, you don't need it now.
I also got a 15.
Oh, nice. Wow, those were good rolls, guys.
I got a 7.
Okay.
Sure,
So you just get 7s on everything. Have you noticed that?
Well, it's just the most likely option, you know?
A magician never reveals his secrets.
The walls of the tavern still display some decorations from the past. In particular, all of you notice a large banner that was hung, staked by metal rods into the back wall of the symbol of the Socratian Order, which is a gauntleted hand holding a wreath of thorny vines, like a briared crown almost, with a shining sun glowing at its center.
Interesting.
This symbol is kind of meant to represent the might, the sacrifice, and the deliverance, which is the light behind the wreath of the sacred. Additionally, there's a painting on that wall. It portrays a man who's standing under a tree with a hound that bears wiry hair, some kind of hunting dog. There's also a bronze plaque beneath this that says Harlan Wood and Doug. Kind of near this tavern area where you see this banner and the painting, you see the woman in white somehow sitting in one of the few remaining chairs, standing strong on four legs. Near her, V, you notice resting among the refuse on the bar what appears to be the small end of an old copper key. Additionally, we got 15s. Okay. Trying to decide here. Charlotte, you notice that there's a layer of mold. It's kind of congealed through the stone floor, and it runs under most of the rugs. This mold is causing them to stick to the stone, even as they wither away with time. There's also a back room door behind the bar past where the woman in white sits weeping, where you see that there's a half-closed door to a back room that looks to be considerably covered with that same encroaching mold. Almost to the point that it's like trapped the door and sealed it. James, you notice at that center in the fire pit, amongst the bones of a boar that had been cooking at some point, but just left to rot away across the iron fire pit rod.
I was going to ask at some point.
You notice that shoved through the upper part of the rib cage, like through the back, and still stuck in the bones, is a dagger that glints softly in the darkness of the room.
Does it look like, I don't know how to ask this, like less decayed?
It does look like intact and somehow still sharp.
Okay. I will head that way and pick up and carefully, like not really disturbing anything else, try to like pull the dagger out. But.
Yeah. Make a sleight of hand roll for me. Your target number is a 9.
Well,
can you hit a 9?
Yeah, I can easily.
Oh, nice.
Not easily, but I have 3 in agility.
Hey, you could use a momentum.
No.
No, not gonna do it.
I'm solid.
One for you, one
I'll
for
take
me.
my chances.
One for you, one for me.
No, not for a dagger on the side of a dead pig.
I don't know. This is getting some real Baldur's Gate 3 vibes right now.
12. You do manage to slip the glinting dagger out of the rib cage without disturbing the bones or making a lot of noise.
Okay.
It glints softly in your hand. It has kind of like a magical glow to it.
Is there any insignia on it? Any kind of like?
No,
symbology?
it's actually a pretty simple iron dagger.
Okay.
That means it's really fucked up.
Yeah, I already pulled.
They
it out.
only put
Matter.
curses on iron daggers.
I was gonna say I realize now I picked it up barehanded. That's smart. That's okay.
I always assume that you're wearing gloves, for the record.
Well, yeah, but like, I should have picked it up with some fucking tongs. So like,
Yeah, sure.
It's cool. Yeah, I pick it up, look at it. Is it light? Does it feel like iron? Like, does it have the heft of?
Yeah, but it's pretty well balanced. It's pretty well balanced despite its simplicity. It's probably like a backup weapon that a knight wielded or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, it looks to you like it was probably some kind of like boot knife.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over to the woman in white.
Okay. She doesn't acknowledge you. She just quietly weeps.
Yeah. Standing kind of near the table, I'll look at her and I'll say, Is the seat taken?
She doesn't give you a response. You get the vibe that she needs to be like snapped out of it.
Okay. I'm going to sit across from her, and I will kind of put both of my hands, like palms down on the table, kind of like reaching towards her a bit.
People are getting booted again.
Oh.
Just keep going.
Yep.
You reach towards her. Just have physical dice ready, guys. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like put my hands palm down on like her side of the table, not touching her, but kind of in I'm kind of going for like an "Are you okay?" gesture. Also trying to get her attention.
No response. She doesn't seem to be like super aware of her surroundings as she weeps.
I'm gonna attempt to take her hands into mine.
When you touch her hands, there's a brief moment of tangibility, and then you feel them start to slip through. As that happens, her head kind of snaps up and her eyes open more. The tears on her cheeks seem to like burn away in like a effervescence of force-like magic. I'm sorry. Who are you?
My apologies. I didn't mean to startle you or bother you. My name is Charlotte. I simply saw that you were in distress and wished to offer my aid if there is something I can help with.
There's nothing that can be done now. My boy is cursed. The room grows darker.
I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You have my condolences. Are you certain that there is no chance of redeeming him?
There's a loud thump from below. Others have tried. They failed. My poor child. I just want him to rest.
Yes, understandably so. I have no children of my own, but I do understand the longing for another that has been lost to forces beyond my control. I would do what I can, what is in my power, to try and help your son. Do you have any details that you can share with me that might help?
She watches you, and she just shakes her head. There was a ritual. Harlow. There's something about him. He's lied. I don't think the gifts he offers comes from the sacred at all. It's all a lie. He did this. But when I looked upon that monster's face, all I could do is run.
Believe me when I say that I understand what it feels like to be powerless in a situation like this. I have heard some other stories from some other citizens of this town about this Harlow fellow. I promise that my friends and I will do whatever we can to stop whatever hold the Harlows have on this town. And I do think that in doing so, we will free your son from whatever is claiming him.
There's another thump from below. All I could do was run. Along that silvery surface of her spectral skin, a wound starts to tear open at her neck and collarbone, and black, bloody liquid starts to drip down her ghostly form. 3 gigantic, jagged claw marks rip from her chest diagonally down and over her stomach, all the way across her thighs. All I could do was run.
Yes, and I promise you that I nor your son think any less of you for doing so. You did what you could in the moment, and nothing more. That is all right. But now I hope that you will trust that this matter will be resolved, and that nothing more is required of you.
She looks at you with a yearning for belief, for the ability to have faith in what you're saying again. But when she opens her mouth to speak, she chokes, and more of that black blood starts to run out of her mouth as she weeps. Make a lore roll for me. Max, you can as well. And you can too, actually, Jensen.
Yeah.
Got a 12.
7.
One moment.
I'm stayed kind of where I kind of looking at the dagger, but I was purposely watching, paying attention to Charlotte. Yeah.
I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, all 3 of you would more or less recognize what's happening right now, and you're aware that sometimes when a ghost is existing from a haunted fashion or being brutally murdered or something like that, they can go through cyclical periods where they're reliving it over and over again.
That sounds awful.
It's pretty rough.
As I realize what's going on, I kind of put my head down a little bit and kind of make a face like I know.
The first act of this campaign is as dark as it's gonna get. Don't worry, guys. After this, it's all sunshine and rainbows.
I'm pretty sure I know what did this to her, right?
Do you think you know what did this to her?
What can I make? I mean, the three claw marks. I'm gonna think or three marks, splash marks. Are they I guess I'm too far away. I was gonna say, are they jagged or cut straight? You know?
They look to you like claw marks similar to a hunting animal's claws, but they're larger than a bear.
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna kind of start to look around too, and take the knife and kind of find a piece of that moss and see if I can cut up a piece, pull up a piece of that moss, smell it and investigate it,
Yeah. So the first thing you notice when you get down to cut the moss is that it's pulsating.
I don't cut it.
Okay.
I'm not that dumb. This isn't that dumb.
So you guys see him take the dagger, look at the moss, kneel down, start to move towards it, and then it seems like he rethinks what he's doing for some reason.
And then I'll just kind of follow with my eyes, sitting on my haunches, kind of, and follow where it goes to that door. And I'm gonna get up. Obviously, Charlotte seems safe to me, right? This thing isn't trying to do something to her. I'm gonna go towards the door.
The door to the back room.
Yes, that's covered. You said it was covered, right?
Covered, and it's all through the crack. And when you try to push it open more, it's webbed in.
Okay. Does it react to me trying to physically move the door? Does the pulsating?
It's pulsating, but it doesn't really seem to be pulsating in reaction to you.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
All right,
I'm gonna go.
a few people back to see if this works. We'll find out.
I mean, I've been out. I've picked up like moss and that kind of stuff. Like, I'm still gonna like as I've touched it and things at this point. Can I like still smell my fingers and try to like see if it like smells weird? Like, if it has like any distinctive smell to it?
It definitely smells unnatural. There's like a hint of like rotten egg.
Taste it.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I try eating it.
That would require me to get slice a piece off, and I'm not sure if I want to do that yet.
Just lick it. Just lick it. You don't have to take it off. Just lick it right there.
Yeah, what's the worst of
berries taste like schnozberries. Yeah. I'm gonna walk up to Charlotte. Is Charlotte where'd everybody else go?
Everyone else is standing around.
Okay.
Max is watching the ghost relive its death over and over again.
Yeah, I went and found the copper key. I was just waiting for the lady's interaction.
You haven't actually showed them that you found a key.
No, I was letting them go through all of that first.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So if they're all done with that, I would walk up to Jensen and go, I'll trade you this key for that iron knife.
Well, I think I want to hold on to this knife for a minute. I don't think we should try to smelt this down. This is, and he like kind of like shows it to you. It's like, there's something about this knife.
I know it would make awesome spike knuckles.
That's what you need that iron for. Well, but there's a whole spit that I got this with the boar that I got this off of. There's gotta be enough.
Magically.
What?
But the knife looks magical.
Exactly my point. I'm gonna see what I can about it first. Also, I think we're gonna end up going downstairs to the basement, whether we like it or not. Something about this, and I'll like turn my attention back to the door, and like I'll like run my fingers down the moss again, and everything seems rotten here. But even that, it seems like it's alive. Not sure I wanted to. I'm not sure I wanted to sever the connections anywhere. Lest I draw a reaction before we're ready to leave this place.
You know, Plotkin said that there was a monstrosity down there. If she's saying it was her son, maybe her son got turned into a monstrosity. And if we feed him the monstrosity potion, it'll turn him back into a human, because he's already a monstrosity.
Two negatives make a positive, right?
Dr. Waltz, what's your opinion on that?
If we want to experiment.
Oh, that's a mighty big experiment. I was with you, V, until the last part. I do think that we're gonna maybe find some answers to the Lady in White's issues down there. Up here too, maybe? I don't know. It seems alive. And nothing else here seems alive, right? Except for us.
I mean, present company excluded.
Okay, well, this is what I mean. You don't gotta keep bringing it up in conversations that ain't about you.
The traveling.
How did you say it? You describe yourself that way too. You should.
The traveling salesman did seem to indicate that the only living things here besides us would be living thing-eating monsters.
Yes, that's true. I mean, we could spring the trap, as it were. I guess if we're ready to, but I figured we'd want to, exhaust our resources here before I, go excavating a monster.
I'd like to look around at the moss and stuff with the the dagger and key if they'll let me with through the dragon shard.
Okay, sure. The dagger is definitely magical.
As you bring it out, I'll be like, "Oh, that's right," and I'll like hold it up for you.
Yeah, it shines through the dragon shard.
Max will say, "My dear Jensen, I do think you have good instincts for weapons."
And he'll like pat his side without even saying anything.
The moss, it doesn't shine. Make a natural science roll for me.
Natural sciences.
You get it, does?
Okay.
Your target number...
I could technically be worse.
Your target number is a 6. So.
It's technically be worse.
That's within my ability to hit.
I mean, it uses your wit. Oh, no, it uses your wisdom.
I would imagine.
Yeah, natural sciences uses wisdom.
I'm confident in your ability to...
Look, I had to give wisdom one more skill, okay?
Hey, I got a 9.
9, nice. This is definitely not natural. This is some kind of rot. It feels like it's part of the curse situation to you.
After a thorough examination, Max will stand back up and say, "Well, I can't say that I've tasted it, but through other means of examination, this moss certainly does not appear natural, in case there were any doubt. I suspect it may be linked to this," and he'll pause for a moment and look like he's doesn't want to say what he's about to say, and then go, "Curse."
It gets dark for a moment.
He'll roll his eyes. It sure does have a knack for melodrama, if you ask me.
This is the most dramatic veil.
It has felt like melodrama. That's a good way to put it, good sir.
From one showman to another, this trick of yours is getting rather stale. He'll just say to the air.
I kinda still like it.
He's just like randomly saying curse to themselves.
Max will say,
like lights up and down in here.
Max will mutter, "Yes, well, I don't believe any of us are traveling with you for your taste in entertainment."
Jensen chuckles too. Chickens laugh. Jensen chuckles.
I'll look at my finger. You said people would pay for me to entertain them.
So which of the 8 of you was the showman?
That's his Hugh Jackman persona.
Yeah, dude.
You also surmise from that roll that it would probably be best if you want to try to get through this door to either try to cut at the moss or try to burn it.
Max would turn to V and say, "Well, I haven't excluded the possibility of one of you having some talent. At any rate, we're going to need some rather violent means to get through this moss, I expect. Fire would be best, but perhaps we could cut through with a sharp enough blade?"
He's gonna like gesture to the magical dagger that he has. I don't know what this does exactly, but are we ready to spring this trap? I guess I was just waiting for is everybody good? But did we get what we wanted out of here? All right, I'll start at the top one. I'll jam it in and kind of wince and pause for a second, and then see if anything happens. And then if not, I'll just start fucking cutting around the door.
Go ahead and make a attack roll with the dagger for me.
Our daggers are always agility.
Yes.
Are they a light weapon? Okay. So this one and this
one of the first storms we've come across in the campaign, and James is already attacking it.
That's right. Fuck them doors.
Everyone got their bets on whether or not the moss is going to break his dagger.
That's a 13 total.
13? Yeah, you start cutting into the moss. You guys spend like a couple minutes watching him do this.
It's like tough.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
But finally, he manages to force the door open, and he reveals the tavern's back room. It's relatively small and cramped, but you can see that there's a locked trap door amongst the broken barrels and broken crates. Make awareness rolls. You guys are looking to hit a 9.
A 13.
Damn, I got 7.
One of you can always use momentum.
I got exactly a 9.
Hey, all right. The barrels and crates in the back room are mostly filled with rotten sludge that was probably once food stores, or rotted food that couldn't be eaten for some reason. A body, a collection of bones, really, also rests against the wall. All of you notice this. They're in a brown set of what appear to be like monks' robes, and they're clutching a note in their hand. Specifically, the note is noticed by Charlotte. Additionally, Max, you would notice that at the back of the crates, away from the trap door, there is a weapons locker that's partially open, buried under the refuse. And when you kind of like push all that back and actually like pull open the lid, you find that there is what appears to be, at least in somewhat good condition, like a full-size medieval battle axe. Just that had been left behind.
Just out of curiosity, what does it appear to be made of?
You would imagine that the blades at the end are probably iron.
Does it appear magical to my dragon shard aided eye?
No.
I really need to get this turned into a monocle or something.
That'd be cool.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be that's something you have to figure out when you get to the city.
Just replace your eye with it.
If you ever leave this vale.
I've seen bards do similar things, and it worked out.
Max.
He's going to heft open the door to the locker, and then say, "V, my dear fellow, I do believe I found something you might have an interest in."
That could be melted down if Jensen really doesn't want to give up that magical dagger.
Jensen's not right now.
Yes, and as more of an immediate concern, it might be useful if we do run into that beastie we are actively searching for.
Oh, I mean, I don't really know how to use them like that. I can try, I guess.
Well, better in your hands than mine.
I'll take it from you.
It's big and heavy. There is a leather sling in the case that you can use to like sling it over your back.
I'll do that.
Okay. As this is happening, Jensen, you're able to surmise that the copper key that was found looks like it would probably open the trap door that leads into the cellar. As you're kind of like looming over the cellar door, though, you do hear another loud thump from below.
That reminds me, was the key magical?
No, it was not. I apologize. I didn't answer.
I figured just wanted
It's a simple
We used
key.
We used that key on the door to get in here, right?
No, you had to cut through the moss to get in here.
Yeah, I got
There was a lock on the trapdoor into the cellar.
Ah, okay.
Is there a bunch of moss growing over the door to the trap cellar?
The largest concentration seems to be coming through the cracks around the cellar.
I would have followed it as I got in the cellar and I'm gonna stand over the door, like hands on my hips, kind of looking down at it, and like when it thumps, you see me like you see like shake my head when it thumps. Like, well,
Time to feed him that potion and turn him back into a real boy.
I just don't like the potion idea. I had to give up some good, hard-earned money for that. Or a revolver that I found, actually. Yeah, I didn't...
You killed a guy and took his revolver.
But it was
I
mine.
did.
It was my revolver.
It was hard-earned.
You could drink the potion yourself. Have monster versus monster then.
Well, I had thought about that. That I would have maybe a philosophical issue with that. But I thought about that.
Well, Jensen, it's actually quite interesting. If you were to take that route, you would hit the three main storytelling concepts: man versus man versus nature, and man versus himself.
Well, when you put it that way...
Sorry, that was the writer coming out. Do as you will.
Although we have no way of knowing if you would turn back.
Why does nobody write about nature versus nature?
I've read it. It's rather trite, but I suppose it depends on the author.
Well, I'm glad I have an author to tell my story about what happens in my life, I guess.
Well, let's hope I live long enough to do so, Mr. Sharp.
I kind of cock my head at you when you say live long enough.
She kind of just like nudges the scarf around her neck where she got fucking assassinated, basically.
Okay, if I'll look around and if everybody's like good, I'll reach down and I'll start cutting through the what's like nothing over the cellar door.
When you pull the note from the monk's hand, the hand kind of falls apart, and you notice that the moss has like grown over a lot of the skeleton as well.
As I see, she's just been like poring over the note and looking at the skeleton. As she sees Jensen start cutting the rot stuff, she'll hold up a hand and she'll say, "A moment, Mr. Sharp. I've found something that might be of relevance, I believe."
Oh, apologies. Jumping the gun, as it were.
Well, I understand your desire to get this out of the way, though I think there may be something else to this, something that may not involve us going toe-to-toe with this beast. And I'll show the note to everybody. It says, "The flame of the evening star rises in the east. The beast nests where the sunlight cannot harm it. The bird flies high in pursuit of the flame, and the eye of the wise man always looks forward to the future. Save the beast, save the boy."
Charlotte, you're able to tell just from past experience that the first 4 lines were written on the note initially, and then the last line, it appears this monk may have scrawled on the bottom, knowing that they were dying, basically.
The part about save the beast, save the boy.
Yeah.
Did the first 4 lines look like they were written by a different person?
Yes, and they're like calligraphy. I mean, it could have been written by him.
Well, yeah. But it looks visibly different.
It looks very different from what he scrolled, which was clearly like a suicide note. Or not a suicide note, but like a death note. Because he knew he was dying.
Just out of character, I know V wasn't there, but is this like similar robes to the guy that they found in the forest? Like, would it be safe to assume they were probably from like the same order or time era?
It is similar robes to the guy who was found in the forest.
That's interesting.
I remember that correctly, right? That guy in the forest was some kind of like
like a
priest
friar.
or friar. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
So they're like what a monk was. So obviously because we've
shit.
played a lot of D&D, we think of monks as like martial artists, but these guys were like friars, like monks, like.
Okay.
They probably ran like small villages, Secretian rituals and stuff.
Sure. Okay.
I'm gonna hold the note in front of Max, and I'm gonna say, I've seen many a note in my time that's had some rather interesting hidden traces on it. Max, would you mind taking a look through your little device there, just to make sure there's nothing else we're missing here?
Not at all. And he'll pull out the shard and look at it.
There is a hint of like magical essence. It's not so much in the writing as it is in the actual paper itself. It's very faint, though. You wouldn't assume that this is currently enchanted, but maybe it was once enchanted or magically transported or something like that, because it's definitely been touched by Aether.
Okay. He'll like hold it up to the nearest light. Is there any light in this room?
No, you guys would need to generate light, which I think that a couple of you have been doing. I just can't remember how. Well, the candle is still lit, unless you want light. But I also thought that somebody was holding a torch for the party or something like that.
You have a lantern.
Oh yeah, we have.
There's a couple lanterns.
Yeah.
He'll hold it up to the candle and sort of like inspect it and look through it, and turn it over and that sort of thing. And then he'll say, "I do not believe there's any active enchantment about this piece of parchment, but it's certainly encountered some before."
I've half a mind.
Perhaps there were people. Perhaps the person who wrote it was familiar with magical arts of some sort?
Certainly seems like it. Cryptic riddles are not a layman's tools, per se. I've half a mind to think that this little riddle here is referring to this, child-made beast being held in a place where the sunlight can't get to it. Although I know outside in this town there's not exactly sunlight, but I wonder if simply being in the presence of light would help stave away whatever curse has afflicted this child. I suppose there's only one way to find out, but I'm wondering if the key here is to get him outside somehow. But of course, that would mean he would lose his restricted space, and it would be a lot harder to keep him down.
It would be saving the beast too, which is kind of like it would be considered a failure in my line of work.
And we don't know their intentions either. They might simply try to flee or go after someone else or some other motive.
Besides, is the true beast the man or the one who cursed him?
Well, would failure to save the boy not also be considered a failure in your line of work?
Well, considering that I hunt monsters and not little boys, I generally don't save the monster that I'm on the trail.
Sorry. As Maximilian says that, you feel this weight on your shoulders. In the back of your mind, there's memories of bars at the asylum. Him looking at you. After all, Teresine, who truly is the monster? You kind of shake it off and try to focus back in on their conversation.
It's a great line, Max. Great line.
I start zoning out a bit.
When I'm cutting away this moss, is there something left behind? Like, is there any kind of...
It's kind of got like an annoying elasticity to it. Like it's like actively reaching back out and trying to like regrow.
But like, I mean, like, obviously it wouldn't be like this, but like a saber, like a lightsaber would like singe it. Is there anything like, because this is magical on that moss, is there anything that's like reacting or anything? No? Okay.
Yeah. You do feel like a draw at the hilt Like you feel like it's like waiting to be commanded or something like that. You actually cut through this moss pretty quick. However, as you pull the door open, there's kind of a release, like a snap of pressure as more moss breaks. And the first thing all of you see as your lanterns give light to the staircase into the cellar is a skeletal corpse. A shattered neck at the side and collarbone, and jagged broken ribs in a torn white dress.
I would have waited specifically to make sure we were all ready to go down there first before I would have cut through. I was just... Anyways.
I can't remember who it was that said something about the beast possibly being Harlow. But Charlotte will say, I think you might be onto something. This note says the beast nests where sunlight cannot harm it. It does seem to me like the Harlow family retreated into their manor, possibly to avoid something outside. And, well, if I know my literary symbolism, I would imagine that this child, so irredeemable as he so clearly is represented by the bird in pursuit of the flame of the outside sun. So perhaps it is that the key to saving the beast and saving the boy is to deal with Harlow and stop this ritual. Perhaps that will break the curse and, well, we may not have to harm the boy at all.
The light seems to be a pretty important part of the Sacredian symbology on that armor, too.
Yes, I was just thinking the same.
In the main part of the tavern, you said there was like a sign that had a sun on it.
There was a banner. It had a gauntlet holding a crown of thorns with a sun, like, basically behind it. Kind of like growing through the crown.
Is that... I mean, I know V doesn't know much about Sacredian religion, but is that like a religious...
Yeah, when you guys found it, you heard some of the party members surmising that that's like the symbol of the Sacredian order.
I'll go back and grab that banner to
Sure, it's a wall
down
banner
with us.
So it's gonna be like carrying a big rug, basically.
That's fine. I'm big.
Big boy carry big thing.
So you pull it down, spool it up, and then throw it over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys want to head down?
This has got a sun on it.
Jesse, how are you doing? Can you hear us? I know you've been having issues.
Can you hear me?
Yep. You're good.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Were you trying to say anything?
Yeah. No, not recently.
All right. As all of you head down,
I'll go first. I'll have pulled my blade too at this point.
Okay, yeah. When you pull your blade, you take like a step down and then another step down, and everyone in the party sees the blade start to glow from the hilt up to the tip.
Start to glow just then? Like it wasn't already glowing when I pulled it out? Okay. I'm gonna look up at everybody and I'll say, go with caution.
Wonderful. I'm gonna take a couple drops of laudanum before I head down.
Yep.
Calm the nerves. Charlotte will say, if at all possible, I would like us to, hold back as much as we can. If there is any chance of saving the beast, I think there is a chance of saving the boy within. That being said, if we must do what we must do, I think that at the very least the child may be put to rest in doing so. But I'm hopeful.
I will pull my punches as best as I can.
I will expect you to do the right thing. And I trust
Well,
him.
yes. Well, if he's not pulling his punches, that changes the game a little bit. But
Understand.
I, for my part, shall not be punching him at all.
that's
She'll
fine.
just kind of look you up and down. Perhaps that's for the best, Max. Perhaps you and I will stay. We'll bring up the rear guard, as it were.
Ah, yes,
I'm
of course. The most important duty in this sort of expedition.
I was actually hoping that V would watch our behinds, and I would lead us down here. Watch
I'm
over
good.
everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand the wall banner over to. I'm guessing like it would probably take all three of them to carry it since they're kind of on the
Jensen can
scrawnier
carry
side.
it.
I could probably care.
Oh no, I wanted to hand it to the three essentially non.
You would
combatants.
you would definitely be weighing them
Yeah.
down a bit, but if you really want to just have them hold it, they could.
This has the sun on it. It could have something to do with the light you have to expose them to, if it's religious in nature.
Does it look like we're heading to another door? Or does it look like the bottom of these stairs just open into a room?
Kinda. So you go down the steps a few ways, and then where you end up with two walkways that lead down into this cellar.
I purposely would not be stepping on any of the Lady in White's remains.
Sure.
Respectfully
Doing
and
so.
cautiously. But yeah, I'll go down with like my blade like in front of me, but like backhanded almost. Like,
Did her remains have anything magical on them?
You scan her with the dragon shard.
Yeah.
You do not notice anything.
Cool. Max just gives us. Max gives her, he pauses by her and gives her sort of a moment of silence before continuing down.
As all of you enter this space, go ahead and roll awareness. Make awareness tests for me.
Go.
The high number you're looking for is a 12.
8.
4.
7.
Holy fuck, I got a 17.
We know who the aware one of the group is.
Sorry, what did everyone get? Apologies.
5.
17.
7.
I won't land.
So, several casks and barrels of aged wines, ales, and beers still rest down here. Though it looks like most of them got used up over time as people were searching for nutrition any way they could. Additionally, Charlotte, you notice here, between some of the barrels, there is a crack in the wall. And you also notice another one over here. However, as you look to that area at the back and you notice those cracked passages that lead to what appear to be hidden areas, unworked stone and rock to other chambers, you also catch two glowing eyes. As first you, then the rest of the party stiffen at the low growl of something at the back of the chamber.
Oh no.
Large, wolfen in nature, caked in the moss with open sores and leaking wounds, an extra limb stretched out of its body, but still the head of some kind of hunting creature, wolf in nature. The cellar beast growls. And then it charges forward as it begins knocking through these barrels to make its way towards the party. And I need all of you to actually there's only one other team, and it only has one creature, so I need one of you to put up your initiative against it for the party.
I have a 2, so I'm going to say somebody else should probably go.
Initiative is agility, right?
Agility or wits.
Okay.
I have a 3.
I also have a 3.
I have 5 total, I think. I thought I had something else that gave me plus, like, got me up to 7. I can't remember what it is, though. I think it's 5. We'll just go with 5.
What do you have 5 from?
I get plus 2 from my initial Monster Hunter ability.
Yes.
Or calling feature. And I have 3 in my agility.
Okay, nice. All right, so you guys are putting up Jensen's 5. The Cellar Beast has an initiative of 4. So Jensen does put all of you ahead. So as it starts to break through these barrels and charge towards the party, you hear it howl, screech, and then just for a brief moment, through that howl and that hollow screech, a child's whimper. What do all of you do?
I will take the opportunity to bring everyone's attention to the cracks in the wall on the right side that I saw. Like, I'll just point those out real quick and say, like, eyes on the right-hand wall, 2 cracks, one there, one there. Likely leads to another part of the room.
Who would like to act first for the party?
I'll go first because I have something that might help everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't forget, you guys can do your moves separately. So some of you already know kind of how you want to move out, what you want to do. It's about a range band away from all of you. This is tight quarters.
Yeah. I'm going to spend my deed to use my analyze feature. I study a foe, learning about them. I learn basic information about the opponent's weapons and armor, as well as how experienced they are in combat and whether they have a higher or lower wound threshold than me. I think I know the answer to that one. And then I make an awareness check contested by their, I think it's supposed to be willpower. And if I pass, I get a bunch of other...
I put resolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you highlight that for me? I keep making that mistake for some reason.
Fair.
Go ahead and roll your awareness. It got a 9.
Ah, damn it, I got an 8.
Oh, so you don't get that last thing. You do get the other
But yeah, so I get basic info about his weapons and armor. I don't know how that applies to something that doesn't have weapons or armor.
Well, he still has like an armor rating.
Oh, okay.
And stuff. So, so you get weapons, armor, and what else?
How experienced they are in combat.
Okay. So you can tell that this thing, just by the wounds on its body, that it's killed a bunch of things before.
Okay.
And also, at this point, you've noticed that there are several skeletons down here.
Gotcha.
Additionally, you can tell it doesn't carry any weapons other than what it has naturally and supernaturally. You can tell, though, that it's a powerful runner, leaper, and it probably uses its claws and teeth primarily. Its armor rating is 4.
Damn.
Okay.
Yep.
That
means that on a successful hit, Jensen can do 1 wound to this thing at a time.
I'm going to count up to make sure. I also actually, that medallion it gave me has +1 on our initiative, so technically I have a 6 initiative, but
You
doesn't
beat it
matter in
anyways.
this instance. Yeah, exactly.
Charlotte will quickly get the basics of that information across in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, you're probably telling them that fighting this thing outright is going to be terrifying.
Yeah. She's also going to suggest that we try to find some other way to either restrain this thing or, like, harm it.
I have an idea.
Does it? Okay.
I'm going to wrestle it.
For all the better.
This
Yes.
crack that's over here, does it look like I could fit through it?
Yeah.
Does it look like the
you need
beast
to
can fit through it?
squeeze? It would be much more difficult for the cellar beast to get in.
Okay.
Would I be able to fit through it if she has to squeeze?
It would be difficult for you and Jensen to get through it. More difficult than the rest of the party.
Okay.
Does it look like I could get over there and through it in a single turn?
Yeah. You could get through the other side.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna kind of slip away into the corner and then kind of move behind those barrels quickly while it's focused on people with weapons.
Yeah, so as it's growling at them, breaking through the last of this, you run to here. It's a pretty tight slip. Go ahead and make an acrobatics roll for me. Your target number is 7.
Oh boy!
Don't forget about momentum.
Yeah, I would like to use one of those. I think.
And you just made his lethal wolf even more lethal.
Yeah, but it's your guy's job to fight that, not hers.
It's fair.
Is it acrobatics?
This ain't no D&D. Yes, it is acrobatics. You make it easy, so it's going to go down 3, so you just need to hit a 4.
All right. Oh, I got a 7.
Nice.
Wow, I'll probably never roll that well on one of those ever again.
I'm going to take this over here. Thanks for the momentum. All right.
God damn.
As you slip through, you end up on the other side. How many range bands can you move?
Just the one.
Okay. So you end up on the other side, and let me... You notice one thing very, very important here. There appears to be a ritual chamber hidden on the opposite side of this chamber.
I'm gonna see that and go, Maximilian, your expertise is needed in this room.
When you're observing that, you notice that there's a large table that appears to have laboratory equipment on it as well.
Dr. Waltz?
Aging Dr. Waltz.
Anyone?
Room.
Anyone who's not me, please?
Aging Dr. Waltz.
Well, you're useful at a ritual site also.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm gonna need some
You deal
help
in
here, I think.
rituals, like, specifically.
But yeah, I will call the two of them in here.
V, you hear her calling for them to follow. Are you guys going to start following?
Yeah, I will.
All right. When you get to this hole, it has been passed through, and she has warned you about the deceptiveness of the crack. So now it is a 5 on acrobatics. How are you feeling? Do you want to use some momentum?
No.
I'm asking Matt.
I'm sorry.
No, ask it every time. I want to hear you ask it every time.
I want to hear you sound more evil every time you ask it, and we don't take you up on it too.
Well, one sec. What are you saying, Chris?
4.
You got a 4? So you start down that way, Max. I'm assuming you're following?
Yeah.
As you get to here, Max, you're watching him, and he appears to be stuck.
My dear, do you need a push? We're not exactly swimming in time at the moment. I don't know if you've noticed.
You see the cellar beast turning and looking at you.
Charlotte, perhaps pull? Max,
I will do what I can.
You want to use your action? I'll let you and Jesse use your deeds together.
I used mine already on
If you
Analyze.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
All right. Jesse, I'll let Maximilian, you use Max's deed if you want to try to push him through and then follow.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Magically push him.
You will need to hit, if this is athletics, you will need to hit a 6.
Mage hand pushing.
That didn't sound very confident.
I mean, it's technically possible for anybody.
It is technically possible, but...
Okay, so he's going to reach forward towards the doctor, and he's going to say, now, my dear doctor, on the count of 3, I'm going to give you a bit of a push, and I'm going to need you to just completely relax and allow yourself to slide through the crack. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to touch your back, and he's going to cast teleport and teleport the doctor through the crack to the other side.
You appear here. What is the kind of like effect of your teleportation magic? Just out of curiosity, is it like an overdone like explosion of smoke, like stage magic, or?
There's like a shower of sparks when the doctor reappears.
Perfect.
You hear someone far away go, ta-da!
Charlotte, you turn and look behind you, and the doctor's there. There's some sparks going off in the air.
Oh, that was quick.
That worked.
All right. You've kind of intimately studied this now, so you just need to hit a 5 on the acrobatics. What did I give you, Chris? I give you a 6?
You gave me
No,
a
you
5.
give him a 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then you just need to hit a 4.
All right, that's more realistic.
I believe.
Hey, if you get stuck, then maybe Jensen can come shove you through.
Yes, that is what I would like to use my D.
Don't think you can teleport.
Hey, I got a 5.
There we
can't.
go.
Perfect. All
If
three
I
of you
get
are
you
in,
hard
and
enough,
you see the
it'll feel
ritual
like a
chamber
teleport.
ahead. All right, you two. The three bookworms have gone off to solve the puzzle, and now the thing with 4 armor rating is staring at the two of you.
Jensen, I'll go first.
You know-
I got this.
Well, I mean, we gotta restrain this thing, right?
Yep, that's why I got this. I'm gonna take the
Okay.
banner and I'm gonna run at the creature and I'm gonna try and shove the banner into its mouth and then jump onto its back, holding it like reins
Alright.
of a horse, essentially.
Make a contested grapple.
As he's
I have
doing
easy
that,
on these.
Okay. So you get to roll twice and keep the higher because this is a contest. As he's doing that,
I'm going to, on my shoulder, I'm going to start pulling one of the chains. And at the end of it, you're going to see come out of, well, V will, I guess we'll see coming out of my back, a big ass bear trap comes out of my bag. And I'm gonna like, kind of almost like a fucking rodeo, I'm gonna like try to use my deed and chuck the bear trap.
as you start to run forward and he's pulling the bear trap off, you see its mouth snap open and closed a couple times, and then it glints and smiles and it says, "Hello, I'm Phil and I'm a bear trap."
Well, now you don't have to be so loud about it, Phil.
I got a 15 on the better of my 2 rolls.
Why did he say that like he was at an AA meeting? Hi, I'm Phil, and I'm a bear trap. Hi, Phil.
I got a 15 as well. The tie goes to the initiator, so you succeed. You pull the rolled banner back into its mouth. You flip up on its back, and you start pulling back. As that's happening, you notice that the moss across its body and over its wounds starts to grow around your body. Like, immediately the process starts happening.
Oh, that's... Alright, kill it before it kills me, Jensen.
I'm working on it.
What a plan. Jensen, you're up.
Yeah, so it needs to make a simple dodge. Creature that steps on or as it thrown at them makes a simple dodge roll. I don't know what it's against though.
Oh, it still says simple. I need to update that. So it's going to be against... That is going to be against a 9, I believe. Dodge. I'm going to give it difficulty because your ally is like weighing it down right now.
Okay.
Fighting it on its back.
Okay.
The bear trap lurches out and connects with its shoulder.
I was gonna try to grab one arm to try and like
one of the legs,
using one of his arms. Yeah,
sure, like one of the front paw areas.
Sure, yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Yeah, and he, you see the mouth clamp down, and it yelps, and just briefly you hear that childlike whimper from within the throat of the creature again, and it lifts one of the legs, and on the leg, the bear trap like mouth is still moving. I
was totally expecting it to say, "Hi, I'm Phil, and I trapped a bear."
Good work, Phil. You hear me scream, "Good work, Phil." Now keep that arm occupied. And I'm gonna brandish the scimitar and get ready to fucking
run up on him.
Yeah, he is. I imagine he's not fully restrained, but I'm hoping
he is
that,
grappled.
Like, So on each of
I
them,
added a thing in the rules for because Josh hit me up one day and he was like, "Hey, what the fuck does grappling do?" It was like, "Oh shit!"
Also, on each of
Someone
its
pick wrestler.
turns, they can spend their deed to make a simple athletics roll to try to break free of Phil.
Okay. All right. So
It is.
So currently the cellar beast's movement speed is considered 0, and their active skill rolls are difficult. Okay. It is going to spend its deed to. Yeah, it's going to spend its deed to try to break free, but it's not going to try to break free of Phil. Actually, yeah, it is. Okay. All right, so it yanks up on its paw several times, and then you see it put its other front paw down on the chain as it pulls free from Bill's maw of steel. And then it's going to kind of wheel back and forth and realize it's still trapped down by you, which is unfortunate for it. But I don't think it can do anything about that this turn, because it had to get out of Bill. You guys stacked up on its economy. Phil, sorry. So I think that's just going to have to end its turn for now, which means we go to the top of the order and back to all of you. Do you guys want to let them head to the ritual room, or do you guys want to continue? How do you guys want to do this?
I'm going to try and keep it busy.
Okay. All right, so all of you head into the ritual room.
I'm not going to be much help in there anyways.
I don't know, Monster
basically your
Slayer's
movement.
perspective?
You can move around in the ritual room anywhere you want during this turn.
I don't know if I can fit through the crack.
Awareness rolls for free for me, just to start things off.
Ooh, 3.
3. Okay.
I got a 10.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Max, how'd you do? Can we not hear Jesse again? Well, it's okay, because between the two of you, you noticed everything immediate. So studying the actual ritual circle in this chamber, all three of you would notice. Jesse, try talking now.
7.
Hey, there we go.
That was my
you would notice. You would notice in its center, there's deep scars in the earth and stains of blood. Additionally, there's a wooden toy of a knight on a horse that's just kind of been discarded there. The circle itself has kind of 4 points along its lines. They kind of match up with a clock. So there's like a top, bottom, side, kind of. And in each of them, you can see holes that were dug and then shaped with stone. Currently, it looks like there's 3 of the 4 runes here. There's a rune in the kind of north hole of the circle. Sorry, let me make sure I get this right. There's a rune of a bird in the west hole, so kind of the left hole along the circle. There's a rune of a flame that's sitting in the east hole of the ritual circle, and then there's a rune of an eye that's sitting in the kind of lowest, the south hole of the ritual circle. However, that north hole is empty. Additionally, on the raised stone table, there's lingering ancient alchemical equipment. It includes some vials that are filled with kind of a sticky brown liquid. And also, Charlotte, you find a note by the vials. It says, going to send it to you, so Charlotte can... You can pick that up and read that to them. As you're reaching over to pick it up, and you see the two of them are looking at the runes in the holes of the ritual circle that was built into the ground. You guys hear a loud thump and then a shout from Jent's side, and then V shouting something. There's like stuff getting knocked over.
You sent me your combat music link.
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's neat.
I probably just didn't correctly copy.
That's fine. It probably didn't actually copy. That's happened to me before.
Read us the combat music.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll pick up this note and read it aloud. It says, "The blood must be as fresh as possible. Once the transformation is complete, it cannot be reversed unless one is able to draw 4 vials from the creature. While simple, I would not recommend trying. The creature will be impossible to control, and I assume the child will be quite angry from the terrible pain we have put them through. So it seems we need to get 4 vials of the beast's blood. That's certainly not going to be easy."
Does it look like any of the alchemical equipment could be used to draw blood? I assume they have something for that here.
At max, as you look up as he's saying that, you would see that as our friend the doctor moves over to the table, you would actually notice, Dare, that there is a leather case that carries in it what appears to be 2 blood drawers. These were ancient hollow needles, and these are very delicate instruments. It looks like you've got 2 needles and 2 vials to work with, and you need 4 draws.
Easy peasy.
I'll grab those. And do I see this opening over here?
Yeah, that was pointed out to all of you.
I would poke my head out there.
Okay. When you poke your head out, you see it reared back, kicking and biting with the banner in its mouth, and you would see Jensen in front of it, like just kind of like trying to keep it busy, basically.
Oh, come on, Finn, you gotta do better than that.
Jensen, as you say that, you look past and you see Dare's head stick out from 2 of the barrels.
Doctor, we are otherwise occupied in here.
Yes, I'm going to need to draw some blood from that creature.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yes. That was not a joke.
I like duck as a claw goes over my head. Well, we are trying our best. We will get back to you.
Okay. Are any of the caskets in the room intact with their iron bands and look like they could fit over this fucking thing's head?
It would be difficult to fit them over its head unless you were able to magically manipulate them. Like somebody might be able to use telekinesis to wrap several of them around its neck, but it would be difficult to just use one.
Its head in a barrel.
Yeah, can we?
Its head is probably too big to do that.
Oh.
You might be able to work with somebody else. Yeah, you might be able to wrap one around its snout.
Get a muzzle going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anybody can act. It's your guys' turn.
I'm gonna shout that out to you. Try and muzzle it with a barrel.
Oh. But how about you get the bear and I'll try to distract it.
I'm holding on to the
I'm about to throw Phil back at him for a second round. Oh wait, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go find the barrel.
That would require the deed you're probably going to want to use to rip the thing off the barrel.
Okay.
So you would be deciding if you throw Phil back at him, you're going to need to wait another round.
Yeah, I know. I was saying that I was getting ready to do that, and then he was like, "Go get." And then I realized I'm gonna go get that.
When you move over here, you do find one intact. However, it can attempt to claw you as you move away from it, and is going to.
Alright.
Spend its reaction to do that.
Would it have difficulty with me grappling it?
It does not.
Okay, so offense isn't considered an active skill roll then? Okay. I wasn't
Offense
sure.
and defense are on their own.
Okay,
Everything else that isn't like a knowledge roll is an active skill roll.
got it.
All right. Let's see here. So go ahead and roll your dodge, sir.
Oh yeah.
He got a 13.
I'm rolling a D10 and a D6. Oh, that's good. That's 15. That's one off of the best I can do.
Okay. You got a what?
15.
Okay, yeah, you dodge out of the way. You run up to the barrel. I'm not going to make you roll a roll, but you do have to spend your action to kind of grip into the wood and then pull off the circular piece.
Okay.
And then
All
you could use the rest of your movement to move back.
I'm gonna move back, and I'm gonna take one of my free actions. One of my strikes action. I'm gonna make a melee attack on it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you spend three strike points, and as you come back, he's going to roll a dodge, and it got a 9 on its dodge.
That's pretty good. I got
Just
15.
also active.
What?
I was just clarifying if dodge was an active roll or not.
It's a defense check, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So no, it is not.
Okay.
Defense, offense, defense, knowledge, active. I should put that in the rules though, so I will.
I got a 15.
15. Okay, yeah, that hits.
Okay, then I would. It's a monstrosity, so I will deal
The
the
blade
extra damage.
flashes, you strike up on it, and one wound gets through to the cellar beast. That was the least effective you have seen your blade be against a monstrosity in your entire career.
No. Well, wow is what I'm gonna say about it, and then I'm gonna get ready to just clamp that thing around his nose.
Okay.
Snow on the next turn.
Seeing how ineffective Jensen's blade was and how I know how much more damage it can deal than me, can I just try and make like a targeted shot at its eye real quick to like just annoy it, blind it maybe for a second?
Yeah, you could.
Like I know I'm not going to deal any damage with it, but maybe just
Okay.
distract it, give it something else to think about while I'm also grappling it. 12.
12. You attempt to strike at it, but it's kind of shifting and moving too fast, and your fist just kind of like skates off part of its exposed skull.
It's kind of what I figured would happen, but it was something to do with my deed.
Yeah, definitely. And you're still holding him down. To the rest of you that are in the ritual room, how are you communicating with each other how you're going to do this? Because if he needs to draw for 4 vials and he's doing it by himself, that's going to take him like 4 rounds plus coming back to the circle. Are you going to try to like hastily teach one of them, stick it in, draw the blood? Is somebody going to hold the vials?
If
I think
one
it's
of
what it
you
is.
comes with me, you can follow my lead. We can get 4 vials very quickly.
There is another issue too. You can tell with the ritual circle, like how it's designed with the ridges and stuff. Now that you know you need to draw blood, you can tell how to disperse the blood across the 4 runes. But you've only got 3 right now, and you also need to make sure they're in the right place.
Sounds
Who
like
has
Charlotte
that
would
note
do
we
best
found
job.
before?
Probably me.
Yeah, I would say so.
Um,
I feel like Charlotte's got a scrapbook where she just keeps everything.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like Indiana Jones's dad's journal that he's always got with him. Yeah, it's like that.
Max will turn to Charlotte and say, "Lady's choice: solve a riddle, or draw blood from a fearsome werebeast of some sort."
Well, if you're making me choose, I'd certainly take the peaceful respite of this room.
As you say peaceful respite, you hear V screaming as it's trying to like pluck him off of its back.
If you'd be so kind as to assist the doctor with his blood drawing, I'm going to see if I can locate this other rune. I think I have an idea of where they're all supposed to go. I'd like to play around with them a little bit and make sure that we can do the deed when needs be.
Max will say, I was afraid you'd say that. Well, Doctor, it appears my hands are yours.
All right.
Very well. I'll hand off one of the syringes to him.
You guys see the two of them starting to creep out of the barrels, and each of them has just like a massive, painful-looking needle in their hand.
You hear me say, "Oh shit!"
It's not for you.
I'm going as we get out of the hole in the wall behind the barrels. I'm going to say, so is there anything in particular I need to know about how this thing works?
Well, you are going to stick it in. Watch how I do it first, and then you will pull this plunger back. Normally we would look for a vein, but I don't think we have time for that.
All right, so
it would be better to try to hit a vein.
If you see one, though, definitely go for
more
that.
blood.
So stick it in, pull the plunger out, run like hell. Is that correct?
Yes, but we will need to do that twice each.
All right.
You could carry the vials with you
So
to eliminate a run back if you wanted. They're not super big. You could belt loop them or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like
I have
a
an
good
extra one.
So each of you's got a couple of vials. You need to bring 4 back to pour into one of each of the rooms. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you guys say that, and you each turn. Actually, neither of you have really used an action. Do you want to try to get a draw right now?
Yeah.
Before he runs out, Max is going to say, well, I think this is a situation where a little bit of misdirection couldn't go amiss. We certainly have quite the challenge ahead of us, and he's going to put his hand on the doctor's shoulder and cast camouflage.
Oh, nice.
So both of us disappear from view. So we take attack, cast a spell, or use a power roll.
That's awesome.
This is why I sent you to do this.
And then
had some bullshit that would help you here that I don't have.
And then Dari's going to hear from behind him. You first.
All right, Dari. You sneak forward. V, as you look down, you can see them because camouflage is kind of like low-level camouflage. It's kind of like, those reptiles that blend into their surroundings more than actual invisibility. And Dari, if you would like to draw, you can just spend your deed to try to draw. If you want, you can spend your deed to make a formal sciences roll to try to hit a vein and get a better draw.
I'll try a formal science roll.
The number you need to hit is a 9. Don't forget about momentum.
15 before my bonus.
Awesome.
18.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to draw a full vial's worth with that deed. I believe that you spent the deed to cast camouflage, correct? Wait, say something, Jesse? Oh, I heard him for a second.
I did too. It is a deed, though, I'm pretty sure.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's a deed.
Okay. All right. So finally, the cellar beast gets to go. Oh, wait, actually, you haven't really spent a deed in that ritual room. Do you want to try to move some things around before you start, or do you want to... You already made an awareness roll and you didn't find it in here.
Okay.
I would let you study the ritual circle for clues if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Good, Nick. That is going to be your deed. Just so
yeah, that's fine.
I don't know if it matters, Matt, but the
Good.
same I'm sorry.
Go ahead and make a study roll. It's against a target number of 9. What were you going to say?
The same feature that lets my sword light up also gives my sword the ignores the resistance of monstrosities. I don't know if that matters in this situation, but it also does that.
It does not. I just made this guy really thick.
Yeah, for sure. I was making sure, and yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to know how much health he has.
Not that it
don't,
matters.
actually. It's not going to matter, hopefully.
Not that it matters, but I think my magnifying glass makes this easier.
It does.
But I got an 18.
Okay,
so
wow.
I think we're good.
Okay. Yes, your magnifying glass would have dropped it by 3, but you already hit it anyways. So in the empty... first of all, it looks like all the runes have been messed with. None of them are in at the right angle. None of them are actually locked into place. Additionally, the rune that is the section of the ritual circle where the rune is missing completely, you notice that there's several cracks and breaks in the stonework, and there is a broken, jagged bit of tooth and some blood there as well.
Am I able to remove it?
The tooth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like broken shards of tooth. You're able to scoop it out of there.
Okay, I'll just kind of set it next to the...
So when you remove that tooth, you do see bits of what look like may have been the rune.
Fun. Very, very cool and good. Okay.
You just gotta carve another rune real quick and make sure that all 4 of them go in the right spot. And you have to figure out what kind of rune you're carving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it sounds easy when you put it like that.
No big deal.
Josh is really good. Great salesman.
That's
You
true.
just have to do all of this before the wolf kills me and Jensen and then moves on to you two. 3.
Well, it's going to hit the other two before me, hopefully. So I've got some time.
As you're thinking about that, we're going to move on to the wolf and see who he kills first. He's going to spend his deed this turn to attempt to get out of your grapple. And he's going to spend my momentum to make this easier for him.
It's easy for both of us then. Or does that just make it so we both roll flat?
No, it's easy for both of us. So we're both rolling and keeping that. I got an 18.
Okay, well that beat both of mine.
All right. It is going to shake off and toss you. What's your armor rating?
2.
2. It absorbs the damage, but you are tossed off of it. Jensen, you see Vigo flying off of it, and then both of its eyes set on you, and you see the muscles in its jaw clench, and the banner just shreds in its teeth and falls into pieces.
Yep.
And then it opens its mouth, and it's going to drop the bit of the banner. And then it is going to...
Come and get it.
It is going to... He's going to make a cursed strike for free on you.
Is that an attack with a weapon that deals bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage?
Yes, it does deal slashing damage.
He's spending his yeah. Okay, I'm gonna spend my reaction then.
Okay.
As he attacks and use parrying blade. And I'll make an attack roll instead of a dodge roll when I'm attacked at melee with that kind of weapon. And if I roll higher on my attack, I parry the strike away, dealing 1 wound of slashing damage, but that and ending the attack. I know I'm not going to do the damage, but I'm going to try and prevent the damage to me.
Got it. All right, go ahead and roll. I got a 14.
Ooh, I got a 6, 7. Fuck, I got an 11. 11. Damn it.
The attack goes through. The slash deals. Let me make sure I got this right here. It deals 5 slashing damage to you, and it gives you the exhausted condition.
Damn. Okay. I have
Additionally, you get
two.
the bleed effect from the slashing. So at the start of your guy's turn, you're gonna gain a wound of necrotic damage to you.
Okay.
So yeah, it just what?
Because the necrotic hits my sanity, right?
No. The bleed effect hits your health wounds.
Okay. Cool. I absorb 2 of it because I am rating 2, so I take 3, go to 5.
But yeah, it was obvious to all of you that were in the main room that it hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. And that goes back to the top of the order. Who would like to start for your team? You gain a wound to your health threshold.
Seeing how Jensen just got fucked up by a claw, I'm gonna grab. Can I run over and grab his barrel and shove it onto the jaw so I don't have to open up another fucking barrel?
Sure, you can just grab the open barrel and it's like right next to you.
I think my mom had dropped it when I got destroyed just now.
When you tried to parry. Yeah.
You run up, you grab it.
Would this count as a grapple check?
I don't think so. I think this is going to be an athletics roll, though, so you would get that new bonus.
Okay. I just don't get the easy from my wrestler.
Yes. He only got a 5 on his dodge.
Oh, good. I got 11.
Okay. You shove the barrel onto its mouth, effectively muzzling it for now.
I haven't thought what to do past this point yet, Jensen, but we got this part covered.
Well, that hurt like a motherfucker.
Keep it occupied.
We'll try. Do you want me to just open up a wound? Wouldn't that be easier than trying to, draw blood?
Yes, do you have a funnel as well?
No.
Then I think I'll stick with this.
No.
Were funnels invented in the Middle Ages? Good question. They probably had something. They probably had something like a funnel.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Litter boxes were invented in the 1940s. So.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's why cats act like wild animals instead of like domesticated pets.
They're not super domesticated.
Yep, they need to evolve into domestication for considerably longer. Jensen, are you going, or do you want to let the blood draws go while you decide what you want to do?
I trap in with Phil again.
I am going. Well, yeah, I will. I'll try to trap him with Phil using my deed. I'm sorry. And yeah, simple dodge roll or whatever it needs to be. Yeah,
it should be a 9. It did pass though. It dodges to the side.
All right.
Phil crashes into one of the barrels.
I'll get up on it, and I will once again utilize my strikes feature, and I'll get a melee attack in for free.
Sure.
That's better. That's 20 total.
Yep. Yeah, I cannot dodge out of that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do 5 damage.
Yep.
A 1.
It absorbs the 1. It growls through the barrel, but it cannot bite you because it's currently muzzled by the. I'm
gonna take a couple steps back and kind of wrap the front of the barrel with my blade. I'm just gonna blunt edge of the blade wrap the barrel so it comes. I'm trying to get it to come at me.
Okay.
Or at least keep it distracted.
You're staying adjacent to it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand adjacent. Okay.
All right, blood drawers. You empty your successful draw into a vial. You guys have 3 more vials to fill.
I will go for a second one.
All right, formal sciences. Jesse, you want to give me a formal sciences as well?
I would love to.
Number to hit is 9. Don't forget you can use momentum. Man, nobody likes taking me up on my
17.
17?
Because this monster's already kicking our ass.
You draw another full vial. You guys have barely taken any damage. You'll be fine.
Oh?
Yeah, that one.
Jensen can handle another one of those.
No, I can't. I'm at half health.
And you're exhausted.
Oh, what does that do?
You gotta look it up.
As a reminder for our viewers?
Oh, yeah. All 6 of them.
I got a 5.
You got a 5. So you do manage to stick it and draw some blood, but you only draw enough to fill 1 vial halfway.
Okay.
Exhausted. An exhausted creature has difficult active skill rolls when they would. Yeah, they just have difficult active skill.
Okay.
I need to reword that.
James.
Oh, only when they use brawn or agility.
Isn't that all active skill rolls would
Not
be brawn and
technically.
agility?
Some of them use wits and wisdom.
Oh, okay. James, I figured out second part of this plan. Now we get a barrel on each of its paws so that it can't use those either.
It'll walk around like when you put a
dog thing with the
when you put boots on your dog for the first time and they can't handle life anymore. Yeah.
barrels.
Oh my goodness! All right,
That's a great piece of art.
do you guys need a draw and a half? I believe currently. All right, let's cut. Yes.
Max will say, Dret, you'd think a creature this fearsome would have larger veins.
You'd be surprised at how difficult it is to find one.
A good vein is hard to find. All right, cutting back. You hear more thumps and cries and breaking things as you're standing over this ritual circle, Charlotte.
Focus, Charlotte. This is probably what you're best at.
This is actually how I sold this playtest to Stella. I was like, you can make a character that just lets them fight while they solve puzzles. And she was like, I'm in.
And it wasn't even the solving puzzles and combat thing that hooked me. It was the not taking combat actions that hooked me. Okay, I have two questions.
Go for it.
First question, does Charlotte have some inkling of which direction is east?
You feel like north is the top of the ritual circle.
Okay. Second question, is it possible to piece together what's left of the beast rune into something like, I don't know.
So you're fairly certain that if it is some kind of blood ritual, make a lore roll. Your target number is a 9.
I got an 11.
An 11. So if it is some kind of ritual, then if this was created for this ritual, then each individual part is inherently important to making it work. You might be able to cobble something together that represents the rune, but you feel like it's much less likely that the ritual will actually work to restore the monster to the boy.
Okay.
Because then you're going to be dealing with like an activation of its magic that's considerably more wild.
Right.
So it would be probably better to find the original rune.
Oh, I thought the tooth broke the beast rune that was under it.
No, there were bits of it, but these are magical objects. So probably what you're thinking is that the rune is either in its stomach or stuck in its teeth right now.
Okay, that's a lot worse.
Where it's really
I didn't
easy
even
to
realize
find
that.
something in its teeth with a muzzle on.
Oh,
Okay, you guys muzzled it. Do you want to stick your head out and communicate with it?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop my head out and say.
As you pop your head out, you see the two of them are like wrestling with this thing. They've got its mouth muzzled up by this barrel.
I'll pop my head out and say, boys, I have another task for you. I need you to find the beast rune. It's likely lodged between its teeth or inside of its stomach. Can I leave you to this?
oh, yeah. Do
Great.
we have a choice?
Without even waiting for a response, I will pop back in.
duck.
I would, if possible, this turn, I would like to try to move some runes around and just see
you can.
if I can. Just pick them up and slot
Yeah, you can
them
pick them up
somewhere
and
else.
move them around.
Okay.
Do you want to try to slot one?
Yeah, I'm going to try taking the bird rune that's on the left, and I'm going to put it on the north one, the upper one, and just see if it does anything.
When you drop the bird rune in with the art standing correctly, and you place it into the north hole of the circle, it locks into place. And the ridges in the stone where the blood would run fit correctly.
Okay. I don't know if that takes my deed.
Yeah, I'm going to say that takes your deed.
Okay.
And next turn, you'll probably be able to place a couple more.
Real quick, just looking at the flame rune that's on the right side, does it also look like dislodged?
Yes, they all look.
They all look dislodged.
They all look off center, or which dislodges them. So it might be possible that one is in the right place, but it needs to be centered.
Gotcha. All right.
All right. The wolf. Okay, I think here's what it's gonna do. It has this ability. That's pretty different. And what it does.
I veto it. I counter it.
Once per turn, you can target a creature within 3 range bands that is confused or exhausted.
Come on.
Hey, that's James. James is exhausted.
That is a thing.
It would be able to remove a health wound from itself, but it doesn't have any. Oh, it has 1, so it's going to remove the wound you gave it, and then it's going to turn to you, and its eyes are going to glower with this kind of like supernatural intensity, and you're going to gain 1 health wound and necrotic damage automatically.
Wow. Okay.
And then it is going to spend its deed. Actually, it's going to spend its move because it doesn't need to move to make its next attack. Its next attack a power attack, and then it's going to use its maul ability.
With a muzzle on?
Yeah. It's going to use it uses its claws for maul. It's going to use its maul ability on V.
I don't know why. Seems stupid of it.
Yeah. So what its maul ability does is, on a hit, you deal twice the amount of wounds you would deal on a standard unarmed attack, and it can't be used on consecutive turns. But it did increase the wound total on its attack by 2 already, so that will then double.
Mm-hmm.
This is against your dodge. Don't forget, you can use momentum for this.
Yeah.
This fucking
I got a
guy.
16.
You have a what?
I got a 16.
I can't even get that, and using momentum would be utterly pointless anyway, because I max out at 10.
All right. So it proceeds to just front both of its front claws. It proceeds to just shred V. It gives you a total of, this is slashing, just so you know. But the total is 10 wounds to your health.
Okay, I blocked 2 of that, and I'm down.
God damn.
V goes down. Mauled beneath the creature.
That is then going to try to flex its mouth out of the barrel, but fails.
And that, it goes to the top of the order. It is all of yours turn.
Yeah, doctor.
Did V die?
V didn't. Well, V's down. Yeah, V got 1 shot.
Mm-hmm.
10 wounds. 10 wounds the thing did.
10 wounds?
Yeah, once.
It spent its move to change its attack to a power attack, and then it mauled, which doubled its attack's damage.
Great.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to attempt to cut off one of its claws.
Sure, you want to just try to cut off, you want to try to render one of the paws.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We can't have any more of those maul attacks.
That will make your attack roll difficult because it's like a targeted attack at a specific area.
Just started barreling with the paws instead of the.
This is contested, so you keep your lower roll, just so you know, because it's rolling a dodge. So because it's difficult for you, you're rolling twice and keeping the lower.
Oh, right.
However, it rolled a 5 on its dodge.
Well, okay. First one's a 19. Second one is 18.
All right, you bring the blade up, and you slice across the claws, effectively cutting them off as well as dealing your 1 damage to it.
For sure. As a free action, I will, if it rears up, if it's reared up at all, as the free action, I'm going to use 3 more of my strike points, and I'm going to make an attack for free too. I'm going to try and slice up its belly.
Sure.
I'll make it difficult. Again, that's totally fine.
You don't need to target. The belly is a wide space.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about it.
He's going to try to.
That is a 15.
15. All right. That hits.
You bring the blade up. You slice across the belly, and you do see
what appears to be like a circular stone object in its stomach.
Get it, please.
Yeah.
That's going to require it, though.
That's fine. I'll wait till next turn, but I will say, Miss PS Jackpot.
Excellent. You can just toss it in once you find it.
Well, working on it. Working on it.
She's so nonchalant. Like, you guys got this handled. All right, who wants to go next? Because I would imagine that Josh wants to wait and go last to see if anybody can heal him before he needs to roll and possibly last words.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't have much to do about that, so I'll just try to take a blood draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is a 9 to get.
Instance of that free attack, Matt. No.
Okay.
I got an 8.
An 8? All right. You do manage to fill the other half of your vial, which means you guys only need one more vial.
Cool. I'll swap it for the other one.
And I like slink the 2 vials I've grabbed into Max's pockets. You hold on to these. You are doing a job. And I'm gonna run around to V.
Run around to here. Okay. What does camouflage say again for what makes you not invisible? It's power.
Active skill?
Attack rolls, casting a spell, or a power roll.
Okay. Are you just going to use patch up?
Yeah, it's a medicine.
Okay. Oh, the medicine is active, so this will make you visible, just so you know.
Yeah, well, I don't want V to die.
I said that, not Jesse. I assumed it was. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
What did you say?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Attack roll, power roll, or spell.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it say?
Yeah, it's attack roll, power roll, or spell.
Oh, my bad. Okay, never mind. You're going to be fine. I misheard you. I might need to add, like, complex deeds or active rolls or something in there. But active rolls is like, I want you to be able to like jump.
Powers not spells.
Well, patch up isn't a spell though. It's like him literally using a med kit.
No, I'm talking about in the description of camouflage.
Powers and spells aren't always the same thing. But I do think technically using a power covers pretty much every instance of spells. I should put magical effect there probably.
You could also just say using a power.
Yeah.
Because then that would cover the ones you roll for and the ones you don't.
True.
If you wanted to go that route.
True.
Well, I needed to hit a 10, and I got a 10, so I...
Oh, nice.
You recovered 2 wounds.
2 wounds. V, you kind of come back too with Jensen and the beasts like glowering over him, and you've got Ari trying to help you up.
You son of a bitch! Do I see the stone?
Actually, that's
yeah, it's in the stomach.
It's 3 wounds recovered.
Oh, it's 3 wounds.
3 wounds. Hell yeah.
Good doctor.
That lets me survive like another half of an attack.
Well, it can't normally do that. It can only maul every other turn or every other round. So.
And am I like underneath it? Could I just like wake up, see the rock, jut up my fist, and pull it out?
You would need to like scramble underneath it, but yeah, you could attempt to.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try and pull the rune out.
Make an athletics roll for me. This is against a 11. Don't forget you can use moment.
This feels like a Ristic Studies situation.
Man,
shut the fuck up.
I got a 20. Yeah, I think I'll be fine.
Okay.
It's a black red,
but you might not have gotten it.
James.
You rip the rune out of the stomach. The blood, the kind of like cursed blood of the creature sprays everywhere as you're pulling it out of the guts.
At
least you can't taste it.
I'll hand it to the kind of camouflage form of Dare, yeah. And then, I'll just... Can I try and just, like, stay underneath it?
Yeah. Go to that whole door there, what?
You're telling me to go run towards the hole?
I'm telling you to throw it in the hole. Throw it in that hole over there as I'm like trying to like beat back, like parry the fucking beast.
It would be really difficult to like throw it in.
I was gonna say that seems
That's
like
what me to do. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna toss that shit.
Could also hand it to one of these two because they'll be coming back in here anyway.
That's what.
Yeah,
I was
one of them
doing. I
has
was
to bring the
gonna-
vials back. Also,
I'm
you
with
still
you,
got to
James, though,
protect
throwing it would be funny.
Jesse because he's still got to stick it.
Yeah,
at least
100%.
one more time. So,
Yeah. So I'm handing it to
Dari.
Dari. Yeah.
Max, have you already gone this round?
Is this the route I filled the other half of the
I think
first file?
it is. I just wanted to make
I
sure.
think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can move more runes if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the flame rune on the right and the eye rune at the bottom where they were. I'm just gonna try to lodge them into place. I don't know
Okay.
if I can do both in one turn.
Yeah, you're able to kind of twist each of them, and they
Okay.
each lock into place.
Okay.
Okay. Then we go to the cellar beast. I think it's gonna power attack Jensen.
It's just power attack.
Yeah, I was gonna say just power attack last round, right?
It can power attack anytime it doesn't want to use its move, but it can't maul again.
Okay.
It can always add the damage if it just doesn't move, but it can't double the damage every turn.
Okay. Cool. That's not good.
I mean, at least it can't deal fucking 10.
I'm also gonna react
against your dot.
reaction. I'm gonna react and parrying blade. I'm gonna
Okay.
attempt to attack back.
Okay,
And not
that's
get
you're
hit.
better at that. It's a 9 to
I
beat.
am better at that. That's good. That's a 17.
Yeah, you managed to parry away the attack.
I kind of like use this momentum and like catch it with my other arm, like the attack with my other arm, and like throw it a little bit like off.
Oh, man, you guys have kept it trapped in place. Never got the muzzle off. Missed its attack. Start of the next round, boys.
I'd like to attempt to draw blood.
Sure, go for
Yeah.
it. Go ahead and make a formal sciences roll. Pretty important. You might want to use momentum.
I was actually considering that. Everyone okay if I use
That would be
momentum?
a 6.
2. Don't sack the creature. Come on now.
Alright, I'll use momentum.
Yeah.
No.
6 is 6 to beat.
13. I beat
right.
it anyway.
Yeah, but would you have beaten it if you hadn't used the momentum?
No, probably not.
Exactly my feeling.
And then I'll
Make your way
wait,
back.
who has this? Yeah, who has the stone? Do I have it or does
Alright.
Dari have it?
Dari,
I handed it to Dari.
he's gonna have to follow. He probably wants to run away
Yeah,
anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't histories.
Coming
hold
back
on.
through the broken piece of the wall as you're fitting those symbols in, first you see Max, who carries 4 vials of blood.
Oh, excellent. That's one part of it out of the way. Good job.
Max will nod and say, "Next time I get the riddle."
Yes, I will gladly make that trade for you. But for now, we must work on there being a next time.
When do V and Jensen get the rune?
Yeah, really though.
When there's a monster that can be defeated through puzzles, and there's a combat puzzle in the other room.
Bro, combat puzzle though.
This kind of is a combat puzzle.
It is a combat puzzle.
It is a puzzle.
I'm trying to get him to do this every time.
All right.
She'll look at Max and say, "And the beast room?"
Oh, I believe the good doctor has that one.
Are you running, Dari?
I trust he's
I
coming.
remember.
He pops through the hole.
Ah, there he is. Perfect.
Here's the rune. I need to get back out there. They both look quite bad,
Oh,
actually.
this is. Toss it here. Toss it here.
Yeah, I'll just
All right.
move back out as far as I could.
Yeah, you can get back out to like here, so you can at least observe this round. You have the 4 vials, and you have the rune. You lock the last rune into place, and I'll let you spend the rest of your deed to pour the vials if you want.
Yes, I will start doing that.
All right. So, as you move to do that, and you kind of observe the ridges all locking into place, you pour the vials into starting at each of the runes, and then it starts to flood through the ritual circle. The low, barely wicked candles in the room start to glow, and the ritual circle starts to glow as well. Its magic, long since trapped, starts to release. And Jensen, as you and V stare down this creature, its face warps into a face of anguished pain. Its body starts to shrivel. Its extra limbs and protrusions start to slough off of it like it's some kind of lizard-like creature. And the form of a boy lays out in front of you. And as each of you kind of absorb that, there's a loud shake through the chamber, and back in the ritual room, the two of you that are remaining in there are realizing in this moment that a great deal of trapped magic is about to release itself.
I believe it's time for us to take our leave, Maximilian.
I quite concur. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
As the two of you kind of like toss like a blanket or something nearby over the child, and you're like reaching down to try to talk to them, you see the two of them scurrying out from the hole behind Dare.
No time left. Wrap him up. Bring him with us. Back up the stairs, please.
Okay.
I'll just pick up the kid and go up the stairs.
All of you start to rush up the stairs as you see the stonework at the stonework of the walls starting to give way to more rocks and earth. But you all do manage to get up the steps, and you manage to slam the back room's hatch door into the cellar shut as it shakes. There's more shaking for a moment, and then the room settles. And some of the moss starts to dry and die in this area.
Hoo-wee.
Excellent work, everyone. I'm glad we're all mostly okay. I'll look at the...
Max is going to be brushing himself off.
I'll start giving the kid a once-over.
Yeah, I'll kind of look him in the eyes so that he's like looking directly at me, and I'll say, "Are you hurt?"
As you,
Oh, that's a good question.
he is coming to, and as all of you kind of kneel in the room, you've kind of carried him past the back room, and you've like placed him out in the larger room where he can better try to catch his breath. And as all of that happens, and you look down and you start to check his wounds, and you kneel down and you ask him that. There's a hovering, a white dress, tears burning off of the eyes of the woman in white. She looks at the child, shocked, surprised, overwhelmed. Morgan, you're alive. And that's where we're going to end our session for the night.
I just want to say, guys, that it's a really good thing that ended when you guys got that when you did, because I was about to do something really stupid that probably would have killed the kid when that happened. I was about to try and go in through the hole in its stomach.
No.
As Drax has postulated, if you can't cut him from the outside, you can cut him from the inside.
From the inside, exactly.
It's true.
That was exactly going to be the thought.
He is not the party member you bring when you want to save whatever the enemy is.